Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us in as Tiffany Doran is going to be here. Or maybe she's like Doran. I don't know. Maybe she's like an 80s lady who's like all about Duran. Maybe. Doran, the Reflex is a lonely child. Come on. You didn't even think that. Everybody thought that, okay? Or Hungry Like the Wolf. Anyways, we're going to talk some of our best monster and paranormal stories from the beautiful state of Virginia coming up here. But first, we have to say hello to each and every one of you. Race fan? Oh, so close. But Eternity Eternal gets the gold medal tonight. Race fan with a silver. Tim Mothman and his goatee sharing the bronze medal tonight. Kitty Cattywhack, how you doing? Marion, thank you for joining our YouTube membership. I appreciate that, Marion. Thank you for the love and monthly support. You're going to get into our videos. I think we're going to start them up next week. I'm excited about it, to be honest. By the way, no hair product tonight. Just going au naturel. You know, but T-Bone's dressed me up tonight. This is courtesy of T-Bone. Gory Tiger, Robert Lamotte, Frankie B, Bar Madison. Nice to have you all here. Hi there, Forrest Louie and Stephanie Kenny Blankenship. Necessary Dialogue and T-Bone, my man. How are you, brother? Good to see you. Gimpit, welcome to SOR Chat. Mel WD40 is here lubing us up for tonight's show because Tiffany said she is not talking monsters unless everything is lubed up and nice and smooth. Monsters want to be told smoothly about their stories. So we're lubing it up as we speak. Thank you, Mel, for the lube. Appreciate it. Zed Hut has returned. Zed Hut will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Eversore, how are you? David Norenberg, JSCO, just another guy named Harry. Ethanol, Ozzy Ange, how are you? Nice to see you. Number 39 in your program, starting in goal tonight from Stockholm, Sweden, Lars Jansson. Noble Patrick, how are you tonight? Good to see you. As we continue on with our roll call, Benno, nice to have you here. Millennium, my man. Destiny Rocks, good to have you here. I'm Hardcore over on X is here. I'm Hardcore will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. He does not like eye contact. Will not sign if you make eye contact. That's in the contract. Little Cam over on YouTube here. Bench press 645 pounds 49 times to warm up for tonight's show. He's so excited about this one. Walter Kochabinski, nice to see you. Lisa Smith, thank you for joining us as we continue on with our roll call. Let us next say hello to Fap Nuts. Good to see you. And Dookie Pickles on X, nice to have you here. Did I do a right of the studio yet? Yeah, I think I did. I can't remember. Let me know if I didn't. Carol Amario, thanks for joining us. Grantavius, how is your mustache? Pat Leal Films is here. Pat Leal Films will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. Kurt M., Luscious Jewels, nice to see you guys. Gizmo, my man, J Truth Seeker, Emperor Penguin, good to have you here. Roger, nice to see you. Night Drive, John Jackson, and Skip to my Lou, good morning to you. Jose, how you doing, my friend? Channel Warhorse, been a while. Juliana, thank you for joining us. As holy cow, look, it's Wham Bam Ham. That's been a while. Delilah and Rock and Rory, how are you? Nelson R, welcome to SOR Chat. Let's get the radio side going. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us in. Tiffany Doran is here. Yes, she'll sing the reflex for you. Yes, she will. She promised. And talk monsters and paranormal. We're at roll call on YouTube. Less than 30 seconds to go before we launch. And let's see. Be Don with it. Welcome to SOR Chat. John Jackson again, thank you for joining us. We are caught up. Super Chat is open. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show. Join our membership on the YouTube channel for some exclusive offers. Stevie Franchise, how are you? Do me a favor, everybody. Throw those horns up. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ear towards the little cabin knows. We're together, friends. Oh. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We have an amazing show for you tonight. Paranormal stories, monster stories from the beautiful state of Virginia. Tiffany Doran is here. She's going to share some of her closest encounters and investigations. Then in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will join us with another creepy story. Follow that up by Little Timmy James. He will be at his home studio tonight for the UFO Report. All right, let's get right to this bad boy tonight. It's going to be a good one. Tiffany Doran lives in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia with her husband of more than 20 years, their 3 daughters, 7 energetic grandsons. Her lifelong fascination with things that aren't supposed to exist began at age 12 when her dad introduced her to late-night documentaries and books about UFOs and Bigfoot. And guess what? It became an obsession right to this day. Tiffany is the co-host and producer of the Bigfoot Report, a YouTube-based live show dedicated to eyewitness encounters and field research. It can be seen Eastern Time, 7 p.m. on Tuesdays. That's 4 o'clock for those of us running on real time here. Yeah. Saturdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific as well. Her fieldwork blends personal sightings on her own property with hundreds of interviews she's conducted or moderated, giving her fiction and forthcoming nonfiction projects an authentic edge. I say we get right to her because this sounds like a lot of fun. Tiffany Doran, welcome to Spaced Out Radio for the first time. How are you?
I'm great. I'm elated to be here. Thank you for having me on.
We're glad you're here too, because, you know, one thing that we learned about you is you got nice hair. You got nice hair. So we figured, you know, we like good hair around here. So thank you for having nice hair. You're going to fit in perfectly.
Well, thanks. It's a little grayer than I'd prefer it be up here.
Yeah, don't be talking gray with me. I've gone from gray to white. You know, one of these days I'm going to shock my audience on social media because I'm actually going to dye my beard color.
What are you going to dye it?
I don't know. Probably natural color.
Mhm.
Back to my natural color. You know, get the old just for men, so that way you get the little gray whiskers coming out. I don't know. Maybe I'll tiger stripe it. That would be kind of cool.
You should tiger stripe it.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. I mean, Halloween's coming up, bro. Just go all out.
Take us back to when you were 12 years old and Dad is introducing you to all of these weird, strange documentaries and TV shows about UFOs and paranormal encounters and Sasquatch encounters. Why would he do that to you, just out of curiosity?
Well, you know, because he had a mind for the weird. I think more so than I even knew at that time. You know, my dad was in Vietnam, and I really, really think, Dave, that he had some kind of encounter with one of the rock apes that you hear talked about. And I think he brought it home. You know, as far as the UFOs, we didn't really talk like if he had experiences with those. And he passed away 6 years ago, so I can't ask him. I mean, I could get a spirit box and ask him, but I don't know what the answer would be. But yeah, it was just a conversation that we had, and I picked out all the weird books at the library, and I was just a weird kid, and it followed me. And I just turned 45 and I'm still the weird kid, but it's fun.
You know, the one thing about monsters and paranormal, you kind of get that you know, Peter Pan kind of thing going where you never have to grow up. It never ages you. It never does anything. It is so much fun to go explore in this field. How much fun do you have doing this, or saying that you're a monster hunter or a paranormal investigator?
Well, it's funny you say that, because I had just maybe 3 weeks ago, I had stopped by Dunkin' Donuts. That's my favorite place to get coffee. Starbucks, please don't hate me. But that's just where my caffeine comes from. And I had taken a picture of myself on Snapchat, and I wrote on there, drinking coffee, chasing monsters. And it got like the biggest pop. And it was, I mean, it's factual, you know, and I'm so blessed that I get to wake up and I get to do that. And I've introduced it to my grandsons and our children. So Bigfoot will always live on, and paranormal will always live on.
Do you recall your first encounter?
Well, I can tell you when I was probably around the age that my dad started talking to me about this stuff. I have an older sister. So I was 12, she would have been 14. So I'm trying to, that was a while ago. So she was 12, or I was 12 and she was 14, or I was 14 and she was 16. No matter. She brought a Ouija board into the house against my parents' wishes, had a sleepover, and this is what was done. She did the, I didn't dabble with that portion of it too much, but I do remember laying on the kitchen floor at that age, and I had a group of girls around me, and, you know, being the baby sister, you want to be just so cool, right? So I laid in the kitchen floor, and they all gathered around me and put their fingertips under me and started saying, light as a feather, stiff as a board. Okay, so I don't know how it happened. I don't even want to fathom how it happened, but my mother comes in the house and comes in the kitchen, and I remember hitting the floor hard. Was I floating? I don't know. I don't remember. But that was the first issue the experience that I had with anything crazy like that. And it scared the bejesus out of me. And then, you know, here on our property back in 2021, that's when my husband had his encounter with not the paranormal, but with a Bigfoot, or an assumed Bigfoot. So we were mowing the grass because I'm weird. I love to mow the grass. It's very therapeutic to me. And we live on a mountain, so we live on a downslope. And so we have a house above us. We're in the middle, and then we have the our backyard that it all goes down. So I finished doing my part. My husband is weed eating and cleaning things off the fence line, vines and whatnot, because it is the Amazon jungle. And I go upstairs and sit in front of our house, and I'm taking a break. And he calls me, and I'm thinking water, right? He's thirsty. He wants a bottle of water. So then he's like, I need to ask you a question. And I said, okay. And I was like, what's up? Because he just had this tone, it's just very odd. And he said, do they come out in the daytime? And I said, do what come out in the daytime? And he said, Bigfoot. Do Bigfoot come out in the daytime? Because everything I've ever shown him has been at night, right?
Right.
So I said, well, you hear about the day watchers coming out and watching over. And I said, why? Because it was just very bizarre for him to just suddenly ask me this question. And he said, because I think I just saw one. That was it for me. I was up, I was down the stairs, and I was in the backyard with him. And he is freaking out. So he is not one that shudders at things that go bump in the night. He has been a road medic for 26 years. He was scared. And he said that he had stopped to fix the line on the weed eater, and he had turned his music down on his AirPods, and it gruffed at him because he had looked up, and it gruffed at him and took off. He said it was like 1 to 2 seconds. He didn't see any facial features. It was just like an 8-foot blur gone. And he said it was about 20 to 25 feet away from him.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And he is 6'1", 285. At the time, I'm still 5'4", but I was 140. And I'm like, he wanted me to stay out there. He didn't want me to leave him. He just kept saying, please stay out here with me. Please stay out here with me. And I'm like, what am I going to, I'm like this big compared to you. And he was shook. He was shook. So he will tell you, and I will tell you, we're not saying 100% that it was Bigfoot. However, we've ruled everything else out. And it took off on 2 feet. We have bear. We have bear on our ring camera. We're not naive to the fact that bear don't stand up on their feet. Can they move that fast on their back feet? No. Do we have 8-foot bears here? Thank goodness, no. So once you rule everything out that is here, you have to look at what you're left with.
I want to stop you right there, because one of the things that you just mentioned is ruling everything out that you do. I mean, I think for a lot of the skeptics out there, and I've said this previously, and I've never been a researcher before until I started. My buddy Tim and I, who does my UFO report, we started in our own area here with where we've been going the last number of weeks. And the one thing that I've learned, because I've never put the researcher's hat on, I've always considered myself an enthusiast of the phenomena, right? I didn't care I've seen some cool stuff, man. Trust me on that. Okay. But I've never worried about cameras or pictures or video, because I just wanted to just live the moment,
right,
and have that experience. But putting an amateur researcher's hat on that both Tim and I are doing for the first time, the one thing that I've learned, even with the critics that we have encountered through this, is that, they automatically think we jump to the woo.
Yeah.
Which we don't. We don't just jump to the woo. You have to be able to have logic and discernment with everything that's kind of going on. And I like that you said that, because it just proves another way that you have to be able to use that little gray matter in your head to say, you know, not everything is a Bigfoot or a dogman. It can be a bear, it can be a mountain lion, it can be a coyote or a deer, or, you know, a rabid swamp donkey, which is a moose, by the way, if people don't know. That's a nickname for moose, swamp donkeys. Right.
That's funny.
But it's true. It is about discernment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think every person should have that some level of skepticism, right? Because it's healthy. You have to look, if you live somewhere like we do, you have to, you know, do your research and finding out what is typically here in the wild and what shouldn't be here in the wild. And then you come down to, okay, well, I've tried to debunk this, but there's no way that I can debunk this. And that's the thing, is we don't go out here and say, hey, he had an encounter with a Bigfoot. I'm telling you what he experienced, and then you make that decision. We ruled everything out that could be 8 foot tall and gruff and just instantly be gone. And that's what we're left with.
Now, my question for you is, did it disappear or did it walk away?
It ran. He said it was almost like if you take a baseball or a walnut and you throw it through the leaves, it does that little and then it was gone. Our thing is if you're looking directly at that chain link fence, if you go to the right, you're going to have to cross a guardrail to get to the creek, to get to the other mountain. So you're going over busy traffic, and you got to think this is the end of June and it's dusk. So the sun has not completely set. It's not dark. You're going to be seen, right? So if you go forward, I mean, you're going to run into more woods, but there's houses. So we have a little alcove that dips down. And I was like, well, maybe it just went down in there and just laid low until it got dark. Because if it goes to the left, you're going to run into my neighbor's house, you know, and we live at a dead end. So it goes up to more mountains from there, but you're still going to be seen.
I love the fact how you just said dusk, because that after 7 weeks of investigation of our hotspot, the one thing that I have learned about that is it is like daylight is the calm before the storm. Mm-hmm. And the minute dusk comes around, that's when all of a sudden we have to be on edge of and paying attention to what's going on around us. Yes. It is incredible. You know, and yes, it's basic science. Animals move on they move on as the sun goes down, because they want to try and get in a night feed or to find a place that's safe to sleep, you know, before kind of bearing on down. So it is a little interesting how dusk just plays a major part in what Sasquatch does to move.
Right. Exactly. But that was our thing, you know, with his encounter, is where did it go? Where did it go so fast? And you hear other encounters is the same. It was there 1 second, gone the next, you know? And we're just out doing normal, everyday things and, you know, being human. And did he disturb this one? Did he wake it up? And it went, like, I am disgusted with you, and take off? Was it just a curiosity thing? Hey, we got a lot of noise coming from this area. Let's go check it out. And that's how he came about. I'm not 100% sure. But they're very curious. So it could have been. But we've never ruled it out.
Any footprints or any type of evidence left behind?
No. Well, not that we've seen, because across the fence, once you get into that area in the summertime, it is literally like the Amazon jungle. And there's ticks And I mean, it's just really thick brush right there. So I didn't traverse into tick country to see if there was anything there. So
as you started to develop an interest in these topics, what caught you about it that this was something that you needed to do, you needed to research, you needed to write about?
because I'm a very curious, inquisitive person, I want to know the answer. So I just keep digging for the answer, and I keep talking to different people who've encountered seemingly the same exact thing all over the world. And it's one of these enigmas that everybody has an event with at one point of their life, if they're lucky, or another. And it's just finding the answer. Despite all the hoaxes, I want to know the truth.
Do you think the answers are out there?
You know, that's a good question. I think that they are, but I think that they have to be gone about finding the right way. I think if you go into the woods and you hoop and holler, I don't think that's necessarily going to bring you any closer to finding one of these beings, creatures, whatever you see it as just being a human. But I think it's out there.
What do you think they are?
I always say they are flesh and blood with a little dash of special. That's what I always say. I think it can be a loaded question because there are so many different encounters that I have read and heard doing the show and reading. There's something to them, but just like any animal, they need food, water, and shelter, right? But where the heck do they go so fast? How can you be ginormous and not make any noise and instantly be gone in 2 seconds? So I always say flesh and blood and a little dash of special.
I always wonder about what they are. I don't know if they're flesh and blood. I don't know if they are supernatural. The one thing I am convinced of is that they're not people too who need voting rights. Okay.
Right.
I don't believe in that, so, but we're all allowed our own opinions. And there's always this big clash between, the woo people like myself and maybe a little dash of what you do and the flesh and blooders. I think it's such a waste of an argument, when you're arguing about a creature you know nothing about, that you may have seen, you may have found a footprint or two. You're thinking that you may have found hair. Finding their scat piles is damn near impossible, and you're an expert. And you're going to say, this is flesh and blood. It can't be anything else.
Yeah.
But I'm conducting science. But I'm not going to look for any plausible theories.
Right.
Except the one of my own.
Right.
I love it. I love it. Don't you?
Yeah. It's and people have this narrative in their head, and it's like you said, everybody has their own opinions. 100% factual. We can all have different opinions about this thing and not hate each other, right? Because we're all trying to get to the same answer. But people come up with it. They have the narrative in their head that they want it to be, and anything that deviates from that is wrong. Even though nobody has one. I mean, it's all speculation, to begin with.
I love that answer. I'm going to get you to hold on right there, Tiffany Doran, or Doran, pardon me. Got to remember Doran. That's how I'm going to remember your last name all night long. See, in radio, it's an old trick, is we always try and match it to things that we know, so we never mispronounce. Tiffany Doran is here on Spaced Out Radio. When we return, we're going to look into some of the stories she has heard and experienced in the legend of tracking Sasquatch. Next on the Mighty SOR. right, we're clear. Remember, our audience can hear us. Hello, gorgeous and amazing Kira. Hope you're feeling good tonight. Thank you, little Dutchy Hank. And who else has joined us here?
Afternoon tea with Tiffany. I like that.
There's more than one hair hypersonic. Just because you don't believe in Sasquatch doesn't mean they don't exist. I'm going to be on you all night about that, dude. All frickin' night. You know why I can? Because it's my show. And my chat room is a Daveocracy, not a democracy.
I love that.
And if you want to call it Davianism, you can too. Ooh. Mm. I believe in Santa Claus too. You're 0 for 2 hypersonic. Number 3, I'm going to really have to mock you bad. I'm really going to have to.
That's funny.
T-Bone, I don't know. I thought you could. I thought you could give to membership. ST, welcome to SOR chat. I do believe in Santa Claus. I really do. I'm 52 years old and I still believe in Santa Claus. I don't know why, but I refuse. You know, I just refuse to get rid of the magic.
Oh my gosh, there has to be magic, man. There has to be. It's boring. If you don't have magic.
Like when I do a show on like going like from the 23rd to the 24th, I'm literally up until like 1, 2 in the morning watching NORAD Santa as they announce that Santa's getting ready to leave. I am like flipping out. I'm damn near waking up my kid. Say, Santa's on his way. You know? And I'm like freaking out. I got NORAD Santa tracker on everywhere. And I'm just like, oh, this is the life. 52 years worth of believing in Santa Claus. And my kid, it's weird. I don't know how it happens, but my children still get gifts from Santa Claus.
It's amazing.
Yeah. They still get... Concerned would like to know what kind of necklace you are wearing.
I have a choker because I am an 80s baby and they will never go out of style. And then I have this pendant I actually bought from the NC Squatch Watchers at one of the, I think they were in Stanton when I got this. So it's a Bigfoot walking a unicorn with a UFO hovering over top of them.
Nice. Nice.
Yes.
We got about 2 minutes to go here. Hey, there's B. Arthur, the golden voice of the Paranormal Portal podcast. How you doing, B? Has nothing to do with Jesus and the resurrection. Nothing. So what's your point? What's your point? You're 0 for 3 now. You're 0 for 3. That means I must mock you now. Okay? If you're going to post in my chat room, post something that is useful and credible, not just opinionated. Opinion is not science. Belief is not science. Now I must mock you. You probably have 6 toes that are webbed. Not insulting anybody who has webbed feet or 6 toes. I'll look that up, Paramarv and T-Bone. I'll look that up. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, you should be able to because we can on ours.
I'm sorry?
I said you should be able to because we can on ours.
What,
on
have webbed feet?
Well, I mean, you can have webbed feet if you want. No, I meant gifting a membership.
Of course you do, B. Arthur. Of course. Yeah, I got to figure that out. I'll check that out here momentarily. All right. Big thank you tonight to our newest member, Marion, on our YouTube. T-Bone, my man, Gizmo, and Dutch Hank. Thank you for the love and support. We're going to get going here in like 5 seconds. Here we go with the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you for tuning us in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Yes, that's us. We're on Earth. Hey, we want to remind all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go, our good friend, Tiffany Doran, hanging on out with us. We're going to get into her Bigfoot stories next. You got some books out. Tell us about them.
I do. I have 4. My genesis in writing started in 2015. I have 2 romance novels out, and everybody's like, holy geez, how did you go from writing romance to writing about like horror fiction and cryptids and all of that? And my reply is always the same. That's a very big leap, right? I started writing, I have Desires of the Heart and Forbidden Desires, their sequel, and they're out on Amazon. I wrote those, I started writing those because I wanted to read a book like that, and I couldn't find a book like that. So fast forward, I worked an awful job, and I was tired all the time, and I was anxious, and it was really taking its toll on me. And so finally, Mother's Day of 2023, I quit that job. And the next day, C. Wayne Tetherow reached out to me, and he said, hey, would you be interested in writing some episodes for Paranormal Odyssey? And I said, yeah, sure. You know, just little content, extra fun stuff for the listeners. And I was like, yeah, sure, that would be fun. A week later, that is when Brian King Sharp reached out to me and said, hey, I know you're doing this for Wayne. Would you be interested in doing this for me as well? So I was like, yeah, that would be great. So that whole summer, I closed myself off in the bedroom and I wrote The Unfamiliars, and it went out as an episode a week. And then at the same time, I go from writing The Unfamiliars episode to writing Dogman Terror in the Woods episode for Brian. And at the end of the summer, I had 2 completed, books. So Doug Hatchek actually picked them up in July of the following year. And it has just been a whirlwind. I mean, I loved pouring myself into those books and being able to pour myself into those books. So in The Unfamiliars, you have the whole gamut of things, right? You have Bigfoot, you have dogmen, you have black-eyed children, you have puckwudgies, you have shapeshifters, skinwalkers. I mean, if you want to find it, it is in The Unfamiliars. And Dogman Terror in the Woods is pretty much, dogmen and Bigfoot and the supernatural aspect of both of them that you want to find. They're just so fun. But even though they're fictional, I did do research, especially on Dogman Terror in the Woods, because when I write something, I want there to be that realism there. So I want it to have the encounter, correct, and their proportions and all of that correct. So what I also thought would be a good idea at the time is writing a completely separate ending for the podcast than is in the book. So if you're a writer, you know they have to follow a path through the story. So I completely erased half of each story and rewrote it to have a different ending from the podcast. And then I was like, Tiffany, what the heck are you doing to yourself?
That is strange. That is totally strange.
Yeah.
How has these stories that you have collected over the years, how has it changed you? And give us an example of a story that really hit home with you.
I've heard many. And I don't remember the person's name, but I think they had experienced it, and it was just the utter fear, because I watched Harry and the Hendersons. Okay. I wanted Harry. I wanted my own personal Harry, you guys. Okay.
Right.
And I think after hearing his encounter, I think it changed from being a Harry to realizing that not every one of them is going to be good, and it was just the fear. He was a little boy in the woods in a blind, and it reached up and kept grabbing his foot. Some of y'all might be familiar with this story. But when he was talking about it, it's the fear in their eyes, and their tone changes, and their demeanor, they saw something, and it was not friendly. So I think that helped me, come to grips of, okay, well, they're all not nice and friendly. We need to be careful.
Have you ever encountered a Sasquatch that you have, or put yourself in a situation that you have feared for your safety?
I have not personally. My husband got the Sasquatch experience. I got the paranormal experience. So I have to say no.
How do you feel about the whole aspect of being around in an area where these creatures are very big, very large, very intimidating?
Well, I just think you have to err on the side of caution, especially since he saw one in the backyard. We don't know where it came from. We don't know where it went. You always have to, you live in the woods. You have to err on the side of caution for anything to be out there. We have bears and foxes, anything out there could get you. But knowing they're around, you do look around a little bit more when you go outside. I just think you have to be safe, and I don't think it's any different than what I did before.
Do you think we're safe in the forest?
I think you have dangers anywhere you go. I think the forest is absolutely one of those places that you could, especially have to be cautious in. But I think if you, and a lot of people will carry, to protect themselves, bear spray, all that stuff. I think if you go in the woods thinking that you are not being watched, you're mistaken. I think you always have to keep your head on a swivel. I mean, you got crazy people out in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally see that. And I understand that. I mean, you don't know if there's somebody following you, if you have like rogue people in the forest who just, maybe they have, a moonshine lab in the forest, so they don't want your territory. I know paranormal investigators up here who have, gone up into areas where there are known hauntings, and they've had guns pulled on them because people are afraid that their gold mining claims are going to be stolen. You know, and
Mhm.
it's like the wild, wild west still up here regarding that. I mean, you have to be careful for everything in your environment, but should we fear cryptids?
I don't know. I think you have to keep in mind that, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, they're much like people. So you have your good people and you have your bad people. And I don't think that we should look at any of them and lump them all in the same thing as, friendly forest giants. I think you have to be very careful. I think there's a line.
Let's talk about your paranormal experiences.
Okay.
How personal have they got?
Well, they were in my bedroom. So pretty personal. So, and I don't understand what the correlation is between Bigfoot and paranormal. We moved in here in 2019, never experienced anything until 2021 when he had his encounter. And it was almost immediately after. I was off work that day. It was a Saturday. Our youngest daughter was asleep up here in her room. And we had 2 dogs at the time. So my routine when I'm off work is I let the dogs out to run because we have a fenced in yard. And I fix my coffee, come upstairs, get back in the bed. I'm on my phone. I have the TV on. And I hear pacing in the hallway. No big deal, right? Carrie's awake. My daughter's awake. Except she wasn't. I texted her and I said, hey, do you need anything? Let me know. Nothing. She didn't answer me. She didn't even open the text message. So I was like, okay. So shortly after that, you know how when a child runs up the stairs, they do it really heavy and it's like, da-da-da-da-da-da. That's what I heard. So at this point in time, I'm not in this world yet. So I'm a chicken. I'm the biggest chicken. And I'm in the bed and I'm gripping my coffee cup and I'm like, oh my God, I'm never leaving this room because I texted her again. She didn't answer me. She didn't open the text message. And I'm like, well, maybe it was the dogs. Maybe it was the dogs running up the deck steps. Except the deck steps are on the opposite side of where this sound came from. This stomping was right outside the bedroom door. And again, like I said, I texted my daughter. She never answered me. She never opened the text message. So I'm freaking out. Then I hear the pacing start again. And it was like something had walked up to the bedroom door because we have creaky floors. So it was like something had walked up to I'm shaking, to the bedroom door. And it took its fingernail and ran it from the middle of our door straight down to the carpet. I'm like committed at this point. I'm never leaving my bedroom ever because I can't explain that. I don't know what that is. So then eventually, Carrie did come up and out of her bedroom. But I'm going to tell you, the level of fear in my body, in my heart and soul, when my doorknob started to turn, off the chart. Because I thought for sure I was dying right there. And it was her. And I was like, how long have you been awake? And she was like, I just got up. And I'm like, I have no idea what any of that was. That was the beginning. We've had the phantom smells, cigarette smoke, the perfume smell. And I always liken that smell to White Diamonds by Elizabeth Taylor. We've had that in our den. And that is, it's the strangest thing. When you walk into a room, I don't smoke. Nobody in my family smokes, right? So you walk into this room and this patch of cigarette smoke hits you in your face, the scent. And you're like, and we tried to debunk that too. So my husband knew the girl that he bought the house from. Well, she didn't smoke. So then I'm like, okay, well, if the previous owners before her smoked, that would be over 3 years, right? And it doesn't happen all the time. You don't smell the cigarette smoke all the time. You don't smell the perfume all the time. So I'm like, well, it couldn't be in the paneling. Then if you notice back here behind me, I have this obsession with giraffes. Okay. So in our dining room, we have statues, little statues of giraffes, and they would be turned a certain way. And I'm OCD, so they have to be facing a certain way. They would be turned around. I have a corner hutch in our dining room, and it has 3 stuffed giraffes on it. So they're all facing the same way, except one day, what I deem to be the daddy giraffe, his head was completely turned the opposite way. I can't explain that.
Nothing creepy about that. Nothing creepy there.
Nothing at all. But let me tell you this one. This one, I was like, I don't understand it. So you feel free to give me your opinion. Okay. So we were laying in bed. I was asleep, and we have LED lights around our room. Okay. And at that time we used them. We don't use them now, but they would always stay on like a light blue or royal blue color because that was my favorite. So around 2 or 2:30 in the morning, my husband jolted out of bed. The room's completely red, and my picture that has my college diploma is laying in the floor. But when he woke up, he said he felt a presence in the room, and he was ready to fight. He was just ready to, you go to bed and your room is like this really calming, relaxing blue, and you wake up to this loud crash and it's red. Answer me this. Why did it not wake me up? Why did it just wake him up? I slept through everything. Had no idea anything happened. None at all. And you hear that in Bigfoot encounter stories too. They'll hear something. They're going out for this purpose, but then they go in their tent and they go to sleep. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
How do you not panic in that situation?
I think because at that point in time, we had dealt with different, issues with the paranormal happenings here at the house. And he had called me that day, the next day, and I was at work. And he said, hey, I'm just letting you know, when you come home on your lunch break and you go up to the bedroom, I left everything as it was so you could see it. So when I go up to the bedroom, sure enough, my picture or my diploma is in the floor. Apparently what had happened is it had fallen from the wall, and they're going to be like, oh, pictures fall all the time. No. This picture frame, you had to lift up to be able to get it off of the nail. And it had hung there for 4 years. All I did was dust it. So, but that picture frame had come off of the wall, hit our HomePod that we had, hit the dresser, and then crashed into the floor. And like I said, at this point, we had had several instances with ghosties, paranormal. So I picked up the picture frame and I said aloud, look, if you're going to live here, perfect. Please quit breaking my stuff. Just
right. I don't blame you there.
Yes. Stop. But, we have grandchildren. And at this time, we didn't have the 7. We had 4. In our house, they can run a complete circle from the foyer to the dining room and back again and again and again. But every single one of those little boys will look up at the top of our stairs back then and say that there was a man standing at the top of the stairs. Every single one of them.
What do you look like?
Well, you see, because they were small, right? So they wouldn't give any descriptions. It was just a man. And one of my grandsons would call him Starman. And he would come and ask me. They had come over for dinner one night. And I was in the kitchen at the stove. And he walked up to me and he said, "Nana, where's Starman?" And I'm like, "Honey, there's not a Starman here." But he was adamant. There was a Starman upstairs. That's what he decided to call him. So,
Maybe he wasn't a ghost.
I've tossed that around too. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Any explanation? I mean, I'm all ears.
Here's what I know. A lot of First Nations indigenous people refer to alien beings as star people.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he was calling this being Starman, I mean, it's literally either Paul Stanley from Kiss or I mean, or maybe this entity that he is seeing isn't so formerly human after all.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
I would investigate that if I were you.
Mm-hmm.
I totally think you'd be onto something there, and you might get a little tripped out by what the answers are.
I know. Maybe I'd be afraid to go to sleep at night. I don't
Is
know.
that the fear? Are aliens the fear?
No. I don't know what it is. I always took them as, ghosts, and then he named it.
Oh, what do you name it?
The Starman. I mean, I always refer to them as ghosties, but he
Right.
put the Starman name on it. So I was like, is it glowing? Is this why you think he looks like a Starman, because he's glowing? Like, do I have a glowing man living in my house? So I don't know. I did research. Our house isn't old, Our house was built in 1972. So I was like, well, that can't be it. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and she said, well, Tiffany, maybe it's not your house. Maybe it's the land that your house is on. And I was like, well, that's a good point. So there were Native Americans that lived in this area. So I cannot remember the name of the tribe. It starts with an M, I think. But yeah, they were back thousands of years. So then I was like, great. I bet you our house is smack dab on a burial ground. You start thinking all kinds of things. But I don't know.
Is it only the grandson that is seeing this entity?
Yes, it was just the grandsons. Now, and they were over here today. I mean, this specific one wasn't, but we had 4 of the 7 over today. None of them say anything about it. None of them. It's like they always say kids can see, beyond the veil. Our grandsons don't see it anymore. And we haven't really experienced a whole lot of quote unquote weird happenings here recently. So maybe it went away. I don't know. But yeah, that conversation, it stopped. The older they got, they didn't see him anymore.
That is so interesting because, I mean, with kids, I mean, do you think that your grandchild is intuitive?
He may be. I know that one of our grandsons is borderline autistic, so he may be as well. And they just pick up on things differently.
I would agree. They definitely do. And that's the beautiful part about kids. If you just let them go, man, you never know what they're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, when we come back from the break here at the top of the hour, some of the great ghost stories that Tiffany has heard over the years. not just experience, but she loves these topics. She's investigating them. We're going to get into that next. We'll take some audience questions in hour 2 as well. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, Tiffany, I'm going to put you back in the green room. We got about 5.5 minutes, and I'll be right back, okay?
Okay.
All right. And Paramarv and T-Bone, I have been looking on trying to turn that thing on. I can't seem to. It's not working for me. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Don't know. I will try and figure it out. Oh, there we go. Well, that's for me. Okay, that's mine. I'll have to figure that out. Yeah, I'll get to it. I'll be right back. We will bring in Tiffany once again. Night Drive, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Anybody else join us late? Baby Sasquatch Kira has moved to the other table over there, just for the time being. We're going to be making a studio move. Thank you to Marion for joining our YouTube membership. Thank you to T-Bone, Gizmo, and Dutch Hank for the super chats tonight. We appreciate your love and support. Don't forget you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag, so check it on out. Here comes hour number 2. Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. This is a wonderful show that teaches you about the weird, strange highlights each and every night. Yes, hello to everyone tuning us in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Unconstantaneous. Unconstantaneous is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's get to our guest. She's an author. She's a researcher. She's a paranormal investigator. Been doing it for a number of years. And here she is to talk about some great paranormal stories. Tiffany Doran is here. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Tiffany. We really appreciate it.
It's an honor to be here.
Are you having fun?
I am having fun. I am. It is 1:07 in the morning where I am, and there's no place I could think that I would rather be at 1 o'clock in the morning than talking about ghosts and monsters. I mean,
right?
Get out.
See, that's what we do around here. This is the happiness we bring. This is totally the happiness we bring. You know, you just can't find it anywhere else.
I know.
You know, so thank you for being a great guest tonight. What do you think the paranormal is? Do you think it's ghosts? Do you think it's aliens? Do you think it's some sort of spirit activity? What do you think it is?
Well, paranormal is, I think, anything not normal, right? Anything abnormal. I mean, some people, I guess in the field that we are in, you would say paranormal always links to ghosts and spirits and apparitions. But I think if you take the true meaning of that word, it could be ghosts and spirits and apparitions, but it could also be aliens and Bigfoot and dogmen, because they're abnormal. They're not something in your everyday or everybody's everyday.
See, we talk about, Bigfoot being either flesh and blood or whether it's, some sort of supernatural type creature. Same could be said with spirits and ghosts. Mm-hmm. We really don't know what they are. We can assume that it is, family members or loved ones or friends who've passed over, who are coming to say hello, or say you live in an older house like you do or I do. My house was built in 1972 as well. Huh? And there is spirit activity in my house as well. So you kind of run through the gamut of, who could be here, who could be hanging around. But in reality, we don't know. We really don't know. And yet in the paranormal, we seem to take it for granted that paranormal means ghosts and spirits. Your thoughts on that?
No, I would agree. That's how, we have here recently, we've just had the Bigfoot encounters, but back when we were Paranormal Odyssey, we had, the paranormal researchers, and that was what they discussed, was their research going into, the asylums and setting out, REM pods and talking to ghosts on the spirit box. Or my favorite, and I don't know if I want to do it. I can say that because I'm here in my office talking to you and I'm safe. I want to go to an asylum and do the Estes method, but I don't know if I want to be the one wearing the headphones or if I want to be the one asking the questions. I haven't figured that out.
Do you want a good Estes method story?
Yeah.
So out at our spot in the forest where we had a lot of activity, I put my partner Tim under the Estes method for his first time, right in the middle of the forest. And this came right after we started hearing voices in the forest trying to lure us in. A woman saying, "Help me. I'm over here. Can you come here? Help me." And then a man's voice started up. "We're over here. Help me. Come help us." And I said to Tim, I said, "Nope. No, that's Skinwalker, Wendigo type stuff. I ain't dealing with that. Not go in there whatsoever." So we put Tim under the Estes method.
Mm-hmm.
And he had never done it before. And within a minute, he is lighting up like anything. And he is making up all these words that are coming out at him. He's pronouncing them. And then all of a sudden, it starts getting a little aggressive.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And eventually the F-bombs start coming through. And then it says, "Dave." Now, remember, it's just him and I there. It's just him and I. And we have it on recording on our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio, in a section called Secrets of the Forest. And it was an episode that came out about 3 weeks ago. It's still our biggest episode. It's got like 12,000 views now.
Wow.
And the spirit says, "I know you."
No.
And I said, so I'm standing about 15, 20 feet from Tim. I say, "How do you know me?" "Your dreams." And I tell you, man, I have never goosebumped so hard in my life when that happened, because I was like, oh my goodness.
No, that's a whole bunch of no thank you. No.
Oh, and by the way, as this is going on, the help me voice has now moved from our 3 o'clock to our 11 o'clock.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. That was probably the scariest thing. Not so much the Estes method, but those voices were probably the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. Because I never thought I would hear that. And having Tim there and him hearing these voices too, it was like, man, how does that happen?
You can't excuse it away at that point. That's what makes it so terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
If it's just you, especially if you're around water, you can be like, oh, well, that's just what that is. It just sounds like voices. It just sounds like words. But if we're with a person and they're hearing what you're hearing, you cannot excuse it away at that point.
The two reasons why I knew it wasn't a human, the voices were completely monotone.
Oh.
There was no emotion in it. And if somebody was in trouble, they would have been showing emotion in their voices. There would have been screaming, the sounding of struggling, and then the second part was when the voices moved from 4 o'clock to 3 o'clock, the lady voice said, "Help me," or "I'm over here," whatever, and then said, "I love you." And then started saying, "Help us. We're over here again." And that's where I looked at Tim. I'm like, no, we are not going over there. That's where I draw the line.
No. See, and that, it hits so close to home. Now, we've always taught our children to never open the door. If somebody is outside yelling for help, just call the police, because you don't know what the intention is, right? You want to be kind and compassionate and go out there and see what's wrong with him, but nowadays you can't do that. It's just not comfortable, because somebody could just snatch you, right? So when all of this was going on in 2021, that's the main thing that our daughter would tell us, is she would hear in the front of our house somebody saying, "Help me." I don't know what it was. But Zach heard the same thing. My husband heard the same thing coming from the backyard. And here it's pitch dark. When it's dark on a mountain, it's dark. And I'm like, you can't go outside. You're gonna die. Like, you hear a voice saying, "Help me," in the dark, in the bottom of our yard, in the corner. You're gonna die. Please don't go outside. What is his natural inclination, though, being a paramedic? Somebody's in distress. I got to make sure they're okay. That's my job. So what's he do? He goes outside, and there's nothing there.
Do you think that we're actually running into ghosts, or do you think that we're actually the ghost to them on their timeline?
I love that theory. I love that. We had, what is his name? Mike Ricksecker, I think it was.
Yeah, Mike Ricksecker. Good guy.
Yes. We had him on our show, and he talked about that. He was like, what if they're not the ghosts? What if they think we are? So when we talk to them and they respond through the boxes, what if they think, what if they're doing the same thing and we're talking to them? I love that theory. I mean, like I said, I'm a curious person. So I want to get to the bottom of everything. So I'm down for all the theories and everybody's opinions and everybody's ideas. And that's one of my favorite ones.
I always wonder about that. You have ghosts on your property. You've heard them speak. You've heard them interact. What's that like to all of a sudden pick up on that conversation? And tell us how it happened.
It's weird. It's weird, Dave. I was sitting in the dining room one day, and it was afternoon, and I think Saxon, he was in there with me, and I heard two men having a conversation. I could hear their voices off to my left. I thought it was my neighbors talking. So when I looked outside, there's nobody outside. And if they were outside, if it were my neighbors talking, I would have been able to see them with how close I heard their voices. So it was on my left side, kind of up a little bit. You can't make out words, but I could distinctly tell that it was two grown men, but it was garbled conversation, but it was clear that there was conversation going on between these two men. It's very different, I would say. I mean, you just don't expect to be, it's almost like hearing the TV from a distance, and you hear, people talking on the TV. That's almost what it's like. But, that's not the case. So then I start thinking, well, am I intuitive? Am I hearing something, or is there really, am I here? I don't know. It's always been confusing to me. But it's very odd to hear those voices when you're not expecting it. And there's nobody around that's going to be, in our house or outside of our, you know what I mean? It's weird.
when you hear other strange men's voices in your house, you're automatically wondering, is there a burglar, or is the TV loud? Is the radio on? Is there some YouTube channel? I mean, you have to go through an entire list of things that happen, because immediately, I know, like, if I heard other dudes talking to my house, I'm going to be wondering, okay, where's my pointy stick? And do I have to defend myself here? And that's kind of the way you look at it at times. I mean, how did this affect you when you first heard this?
Oh, well, it catches you off guard, and you really do have to go through that process of elimination. Our dining room is relatively close to the living room. If it was the TV, you would be able to hear words. You wouldn't just hear, the voice, because it was almost like a mumbly male, speaking voice. The TV wasn't on. If it was upstairs, you would still be able to, tell, that you would be able to make out words. This what it was all, you have to go through the process of elimination to rule things out. There wasn't anything on. There wasn't any other men in our house except Zach. There wasn't anybody outside talking.
Have you heard them since?
No. Haven't heard them since.
So you think they were just kind of passing through? Or do you think that...
I've thought about that. I've thought that. Maybe that was just, they're just traveling. And I just happened to... And why did I pick up on the voices? Do I have some kind of intuitive stuff? I mean, is this why my grandsons can see these things? I've ran through every scenario since 2021. Every scenario.
T-Bone wants to know if you've ever had alien encounters.
No, that is something I have not had, is an alien encounter. I have not experienced that. I have not seen a UFO that I'm aware of. I haven't seen any orbs, just Bigfoot and ghosties.
Oh, they're coming. They're coming. I'm just going to tell you. All of a sudden, you're going to call me up one day and you're going to be like, Dave, you were right. I got aliens.
You want me to come on and talk
aliens. And the reason why I say that, I don't say that in jest or to bug you or to put an omen on you or anything like that. But the phenomena always gives you everything you want. Or even if you don't want it, it tests you.
Yeah.
Mine started off very paranormal. Then it went to Bigfoot. And then the UFOs came. And then eventually, a few months later, the aliens came.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you may not get the aliens or think you don't got aliens, but they might be right there with you. And you don't even know.
Yeah. You know what I do want to experience? Because I'm weird. I want to go, okay, like we're 10 minutes from the Blue Ridge Parkway. I want to experience the orbs so bad. I want to know what they are. People always say they see either the white ones or the blue ones or the orange ones. I would love to see one just because I want to know.
What do you think the orbs are?
Oh my God, I don't know. There's so many things that we have heard, just they're spaceships that are like shrunk down. I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it, in my opinion. I mean, don't come for me, but I just don't think that's what it is. Drones, we had Gabe Leonard on and we interviewed him and we were talking about the orbs there. But I don't know. I couldn't 100% tell you. They're fascinating as all get out, though.
I don't like the little ones that could be, described as sort of dust particles or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What I like is the big big giant orbs.
Yeah,
I
like
remember in my old hometown there was a river that pretty famous river called the Fraser River that my patio used to look over the Fraser River and into what they call the Fraser Valley.
Mhm.
And we had some friends over, and all of a sudden we watch out of nowhere, probably, I'm going to say, a couple thousand feet above the river, not high, not like 4,000 or 5,000 feet. And this giant white orb was following the river. And we're watching this. We're watching it. We watched it for about 5-6 minutes. And then we watched it right at almost eye level from where we are. Because, I was a couple thousand feet up the mountain.
Mhm.
Okay. Watching this. And all of a sudden it takes a 90-degree turn south, then does a complete 180, and then goes high in the sky and drops. And right where it would have dropped there, we know there would have been a lake there.
Mm.
And just this giant orb. I mean, it literally looked like, what was the name of the good witch was it Gilda? Glenda. It looked like Glenda's orb, except white, coming down the river. And then all of a sudden, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, down into the lake.
So what do you think? Do you think that there are UFOs, UAPs under the ocean?
Well, good question.
Thanks, T-Bone.
Good question.
Mm-hmm.
Considering this is my show and I'm the one who asks questions here.
Sorry, I'm an interviewer.
I'm teasing. We got 2 minutes to go before we go to break here. Tiffany Doran is our guest. We call her the Reflex around home. I like that, by the way. I think that's funny. I'm stupid that way.
You're fun.
But I'm just going to say this, and my audience is going to roll their eyes at me because I say it all the time. There is a major difference that people refuse to admit to between what a UFO is and a UAP. UAP are man-made objects.
Mm-hmm.
UFOs are not. And do I believe, and the sooner we get this UAP garbage out of our vocabulary, we're going to be better off for it in trying to figure out what true disclosure is and not government disclosure. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in government disclosure. But that's a rant for another day. The orbs, I'm not sure what they are.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen orbs in my house, real orbs, not the kind you catch on camera, but like real orbs. I've seen them outside. I think a lot of them are ET or spiritual, but I don't believe, when somebody puts a camera up and it's nighttime, they take a picture and there's like 4,286 orbs in the air.
Right.
Okay. That could be a misty night. It could be snow. It could be bugs. It could be dampness. It could be anything. I want to see the giant orbs, the ones that are lit up, in different colors, the blue, the red, the green. I mean, I remember sitting at my friend's house in a meditation and watching a golf ball sized reddish orange orb come right out of, like, literally it floated right into the middle of the doorway, came out of the doorway right towards me. It was about to touch my friend's elbow, and then I went to touch it and it disappeared. Yeah. Tiffany Doran, another half hour at Spaced Out Radio. You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott. All right, we're clear.
Okay.
I like the orbs.
Yeah.
But I like the big ones. I like big orbs, and I cannot lie. Sylvain Gano, how you doing? T-Bone, thank you for that second lovely super chat, my man. Greatly appreciate your love and support. Hard to believe we're almost done.
I know. There's only 30 minutes left.
Technically, it'll be about 23 and a half minutes.
I mean, right? There's only 23 and a half minutes left.
Yeah. Well, right now, there'd be like 29 and a half. But, yeah, getting closer.
Yeah. It's been fun.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I try and make it so much fun.
You do make it so much fun.
All Day Supremo, when is the next episode of our videos coming up? We're going to do it on Sunday. We're going to be doing them every 2 weeks. And the reason why, once again, for people curious about our videos on Secrets of the Forest, we're going to be doing them every 2 weeks because from November until April, we're not going to be able to film anything due to the snow. And probably end of November, we might have to shut it down, depending on the snow in that area, which would mean that we would have like 4 or 5 months without episodes. So we figure if we instead of putting them out every week, if we put them out every 2 weeks, that way we should be able to cover some of that winter time filming for us. So, and it gives Tim a little bit more time to get the videos organized and edited the way he wants them, because he's pretty damn good with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you want to see the fun we're doing on our YouTube channel, go to Secrets of the Forest. Gorgeous Kim Jellin. I'm not afraid of snow. It's just driving when it gets like really deep. Like when you don't want to be in the forest when it gets to like 3 feet of snow, 3-4 feet of snow. Then you kind of get stuck, and there's no cell phone service out there. So when you're stuck, you got to walk back. At times, Kurt, the snow out there will get to like 4, 5, 6 feet.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I don't drive in snow. I don't do it.
I do. Fun.
I don't. I got stuck on a hill. That was it for me. I got stuck on a hill like this. That was done. I'm no longer driving it.
I don't own snowmobiles, and I refuse to snowshoe. Did it once. I hated it. Hated snowshoeing. People say it's great. No, it's not fun. It's not fun.
Mm-mm.
I don't have a winch on my Jeep. And with our logging roads, because they built fire breaks, there are no trees to tie on.
Mm-mm. I'm usually a summer girl, but I'm telling you, this heat is killing me this year.
Do you have air conditioning?
Yes. And a very high electric bill.
Usually, there's only about 3 weeks a year, 2 if that we need air conditioning here.
Oh.
And haven't needed it yet. We just brought out the fans. But what's really cool about going into August up where I live is we're going to start getting really hot days, but really cool nights. Like we're talking like a couple degrees above freezing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I love those nights. You open up your window, your pillow is always cold.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Hold on right there. Thank you to T-Bone with a pair, Gizmo and Dutch Hank for the amazing super chats. Thank you, Marion, for joining our YouTube membership group. Don't forget you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So make sure you check it on out. And here we go. In like 7 seconds. Here comes the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Good to have you with us. We appreciate earning your listening ears, and hopefully we're keeping you entertained while you wrap yourself in tinfoil. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can always check out our free archives by going to YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Final time tonight. We got her for about 23 and a half minutes. Well, more like 22 minutes. All right, here's Tiffany Doran. Her husband calls her the Reflex. She's an author. She's a researcher. She's an experiencer of the unknown. We appreciate you coming on in tonight, Tiffany.
Always a pleasure.
Where can people find your books?
You can find them Amazon.com, HangerOnePublishing.com. The Unfamiliars and Dogman's Here in the Woods, absolutely, HangerOnePublishing.com. They are on Amazon.com as well. BarnesandNoble.com. Anywhere that you buy your favorite books online, you can find mine. And I do ask that you check them out. I'm a little biased, but they're really good.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you. We appreciate you sharing that. What's the scariest paranormal story you've been told?
I have it in this book, if I may read it to you so I don't mess it up.
Please do.
Okay. I have, let's see, I just lost my page, but here it is. This is one of the, and it has to deal with a psychiatric ward, okay? And y'all, I'm sure, have heard so many like this, but I don't want to mess it up. One day, I worked with a recent graduate from a local school of nursing. He had been working at Broughton since he was a CNA and now was a registered nurse. He told me several things that happened to him during his tour of duty. One day, he and a fellow assistant, who is now retired, were working on a ward when the other fellow decided to eat his sandwich quickly because he was so hungry. As he was standing in the doorway of the break room, eating and monitoring the hall, he saw a patient in a yellow gown go down the hall and into a patient's bedroom. The assistant yelled for the now RN to come and check it out with him. Together, they ran down the hall to see who was up at that time of night. After checking the room the elusive patient went into, and then every bedroom on that ward, they found no patient up or awake, and none of them were wearing a yellow gown. Creepy.
What color gown were they wearing?
Obviously not a yellow one. The ghost here was wearing a yellow gown. But
that is so creepy.
It's so creepy, right? And I think the paranormal stories that get me the most are just that. You have, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, if it wasn't almost 2:00 in the morning, I'd be able to tell you Brushy Mountain.
You know, I remember, I don't know if you had it down there, but up here, they would always do, like on Friday and Saturday nights, late night, like we're talking like 11 o'clock starts. They would do these documentaries on America's toughest prisons. Mm-hmm. And the Brushy Mountain episodes were always my favorite. They did like 6-8 weeks at Brushy Mountain. And, you know, I remember they were talking about one guy's execution, and then you got like the big rock wall built into a hillside. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's like 35, 40 foot wall of granite rock and everything. And nobody's ever got out. I'm not a big fan of the paranormal tourism traps like Waverly Hills or Gettysburg or Alcatraz. Not saying that I wouldn't want to visit there
For the history.
For the history, but Brushy Mountain just seems like a totally different ball game altogether.
Yes. We have heard several encounter stories from there, and the main one that gets me, and it scares me to death, is there was a girl walking into Brushy Mountain. Okay, so when she's in there, there's, other investigators around. Okay, but this dark, she said it was darker than black, like rushed her. Almost like, get out of here. What is that? I don't understand, but I don't want to say I would love to see the Hat Man, but it's almost, eerily reminiscent of just that dark, evil get out, just rushing up to you. No, I don't know how I would do that.
I don't know how to do it either. I don't know how I would even handle that. I find, though, I will say this from personal experience. I find that the more time I spend outside in the forest looking at our one area for cryptids especially, the less and less I'm fearful of ghosts.
Yeah.
Like ghosts is like, and I don't mean this insultively to paranormal investigators, because I'm not a good paranormal investigator. I've never been a paranormal investigator, but just from my own experience about putting myself in that position, investigating paranormal is like drinking Diet Coke. You want the sugar rush, but you'll never get it.
Right.
And then you get into cryptids and aliens, and it's like a whole different ball game of energy, you know? And it's so much, the fact that there could be something out there that could literally rip your arm off and beat the tar out of you with it. I look at that as the ultimate death. If I could go out one way, you'll hear guys, I want to go out with a harem of women in lingerie and thigh-high stockings and high heels. No, man, I want Bigfoot to rip my arm off and beat the tar out of me with it. Because when I enter the gates with St. Peter and he looks at me and says, "What the heck happened to you?" I got bragging rights. I got bragging rights.
And people who watch our shows are like, what is wrong with these people? But it's so true.
Right? Sure, I could fantasize about anything, playing a game of hockey and having a heart attack on the ice. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. It would still suck, because they'd probably go down the ice and score on a 5-on-4, and then I'm -1 while I'm dead. Okay. That's not good for the statistics. I can't do that, So I just look at it like, I don't want to die by dog man. Okay, that just looks scary.
Yeah, I don't mess.
No, I'm just Erica's like, now if it was Katy Perry though, no, I'm over Katy Perry. Just for the record, after she was caught having a dinner date with our former dear leader up here, who nobody likes, okay, who had a 92% disapproval rating before he stepped down, and she's going out on him. I've lost it now. I have no love and feeling for Katy Perry anymore. None. Would I want a Gugway to do it? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Gugway, Sasquatch. I'll tell you a freaky story. This just happened this past Saturday. Our audience, if they haven't heard yet, I'll fill them in because there's always new people tuning in. Okay. We've added Tim and I have added a local First Nations lady to our team to come out and investigate. And the past couple weeks, she's been singing and drumming in the forest. So this past weekend, Tim, who does all of our camera work, he couldn't make it. And so Lolly and I go out there, and no cameras, no nothing. Let's just go for a spiritual time. You know what I'm saying? See what happens. So daytime. Oh, it's so calm and friendly around here. This is so interesting. I don't know what's going to be, if it's going to be very active. I said, wait till dusk. And so dusk hits. She all of a sudden says, I got the feeling like I need to sing a song and drum. Are you okay with that? I said, absolutely. So she sings this beautiful song while drumming. And the feeling that I got from it, because I'm not First Nation, so I don't have any understanding of the song's meanings or whatever. And after she was done, she paused, she comes back, sits down, puts a drum on her lap. And I said, that was beautiful. I said, that had the feeling that it was a welcoming song for the spirits and the cryptids around. She goes, that's exactly what it was. That was the meaning behind it. So I was kind of happy that I was able to pick that up. And we're sitting there for about 10, 15 minutes, and probably about 50, 60 yards in front of us into the trees, where if we're at high noon, we're usually at about 11 o'clock at that distance, because that's where our gifting site is. And you have to kind of go around through the trails, and all of a sudden, it's like somebody took a Louisville slugger to a tree. Bang, bang. Now, I've heard wood knocking before. I have never heard wood knocking that close. And it scared the daylights out of me.
Of course.
Completely. I jumped out of the chair because I have a pointy stick with me. Not that I would use it with Sasquatch, but in case it is a grizzly bear, or a black bear, or a moose. 3 of the big animals in our forest that could hurt us badly. And I said, was that a branch cracking, or was that bang, bang? She goes, oh, that was bang, bang. I said, hit your drum, match it. And so she bangs it. And I said, the reason why I asked you to do that was because if it is an animal, it will let them know our presence. If it isn't an animal and it's our friend, maybe he'll bang back. So nothing happens after she bangs it second time. Third time, she drums bang, bang. And all of a sudden, over by my gifting site now, you hear something rushing through the trees for about 2-3 seconds, and then it disappears, or it goes silent again. I'm like, bang again. Bang, bang, nothing. Bang again. Bang, bang, nothing. Okay, it's gone silent, right? I am never, outside of that time when we heard those voices, that one scared me.
Right.
That one scared me bad because it was so abrupt and violent, like what I would perceive as violent. And look, when it comes to sports, I like a little bit of violence. I do.
Yeah.
I like a good hockey fight, a good body check. 2 outfielders in baseball running into each other, trying to chase down a fly ball. I like that stuff. Okay, a guy sliding into second hard to break up a double play. That's me. Football, I like a good tackle, But this was scary. Yeah. Absolutely scary because I didn't expect it. It totally caught me off guard.
Yeah, we had Jim Peters and Joe Jenkins. Try to say that fast, you can't. And I had played their audio, and that's exactly what it sounds like. It was very loud, and I said the same thing you just did. As soon as I finished that audio clip, I was like, and that was a Louisville slugger up against the tree, because it was very hard and it was very loud, and it was seemingly right beside their recorder. I don't know. I don't get them. I don't. You know what I want to know? What do they mean? What do the tree structures mean? What where do they go if you're following a pathway and all of a sudden the tracks just stop and disappear? These are the questions I want answers to. Like, do they go into a quote unquote portal? I mean, if the substrate's the same, you would think that the footprints would still be there. Or you find one lone track, nothing else. Are they just hopping around on one foot? You know, I wouldn't know.
Many First Nations people in my area believe they're walking in separate dimensions at once.
That's interesting. Yeah, because you hear them. You hear of them. You know, we were following this pathway and then all of a sudden it just stopped. Or, you know, you could have tracks and then all of a sudden there's a log. Well, maybe instead of walking, you know, they started walking on the log to keep there from being any tracks. There's just so many questions.
They are a magnificent creature, you know, and the question is, what else is out there? Is it dogmen? Is it little people? Is it gnomes? Is it, you know,
the fae?
Fairies? Is it other creatures from the fairy realm? We really don't know. You know, I mean, if you have one, do you have them all in the same area?
Right. Is there turf war? I know in Dogmentera in the woods, there's the turf war. You know, Bigfoot stay in one area, dogmen stay in the other area. Is that how it is in real life? I mean, because they share the same habitat, right? They have to run into each other eventually. What happens when they run into each other? Do they duke it out, or they just tip their hat and say, hey, have a good day, man, I'm going this way? I don't know.
I don't know either. I really do not get it. I do not understand it. You know, but the one thing about Bigfoot, and I hope, and I'll say this publicly, even though I'm out looking for an encounter each and every weekend, I really hope the mystery is never solved.
Yeah.
I really don't. I want this creature to stay elusive, to stay, you know, just that 2 or 3 steps ahead of what we are doing. I just want it. Maybe it's the majesty of the legend. I don't want to know if they have them in captivity. I don't want to know if they've dissected them or you know, we haven't found a body. We, you know, for the most part, we could sit there and say, no, they don't exist unless you've seen one or seen the evidence.
Right. Exactly. I think it's the magic. It's the magic. If you find it, the magic's gone. But I think to truly, we are not the only things on this earth. We just aren't. We aren't the only beings that walk in the forest. We just are not. And I think it's that magic that brings that spark of life every time you go into the woods, to keep your eyes open, to keep you wanting to go into the woods. I mean, finding Bigfoot is what it is. It's when you go out into the woods and you experience nature for what it is. That's your perk. If you find Bigfoot, that's great. That's icing on the cake. Experience the magic of the forest. And I think if everything is solved and discovered and found out, the magic's gone. I wouldn't want to lose the magic either.
I don't want to lose it. I really don't. I love the fact that I have 2 places. I love the fact that I could go to those places and find different happenings around there. I love that idea. I really do. I love the idea that I can go get scared under my own control.
Yeah.
I love the fact that I can go put a flashlight up and maybe catch eye shine or one of the beings themselves. You know, I don't need to to see one in captivity. I don't need to see one go on display in a zoo or at a carnival.
Right.
You know, I don't want that. I really don't. But that's, you know, kind of what the people want. I will say this, in regards, as we got about 3.5 minutes to go, in regards to our location, we have found probably, I would say, close to 80, 90 yards apart. A very weird looking print. It
Really?
almost looks like a duck print with a little round heel. And the thing is probably the size of a basketball.
Wow. That is very strange.
We found one way up in the trees and one on the on a path that exits out.
That's very interesting. Never heard it. That's crazy. I wonder what that is.
I have no idea. I don't even think I want to know. But it's absolutely weird. I mean, when we saw the first one, we were like, okay, like it's almost like if you took your foot, you know, if you're in the mud, you would take your foot and you would kind of wash it like a windshield washer.
Yep.
It almost looks like that with a little round heel connected on the end, kind of like a martini glass. You know how it comes on down, and then you usually have the round part that you sit it on, or that starts the stem.
Yep.
That's kind of what it looked like. And then we found another one, like I said, about 80, 90 yards away, two extremely different locations. And we're like, what the hell is that? And you know what? Me being the non-investigator or researcher, the amateur investigator that I am, I forgot to take pictures of them. But Tim got them on camera. Tim got them on camera.
Oh, cool.
So we do have record of them, but I have nothing to show. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
But it's just experiencing it, right? We just came back from the Smokies. We went to the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot conference. And I'm usually a picture hoarder. Okay, I take pictures all the time. But I didn't this year because I just wanted to experience the whole thing. I mean, I did take pictures, just not as many. But I mean, it's okay to do that when you go out into the woods. But you do always cuss yourself when you leave, like, man, if I just had my camera to take a picture of that. So, yeah, I get it. But
it is very awesome. We have about 1 minute left with you tonight, Tiffany, and I want to say a big thank you for coming on our show, Spaced Out Radio, tonight for the first time. It was an absolute pleasure. Do me a favor, take this time to tell people about your books and how they can learn more about you and your work.
Absolutely. You guys can find me. Google. I'm all over the place on Google. If you want to find where, I have Facebook, Instagram. I do not have an X account. However, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, my books, Amazon.com, HangerOnePublishing.com, Barnes & Noble. Just reach out to me if you want to chat. I'm very responsive to emails, and I would be happy to talk to you about everything we talked about tonight and more. So
if it's weird, Tiffany is going to want to chat with you about it. Hey, I want to say a big thank you to you tonight for coming on the show. It was absolutely great. And thank you for having fun with us tonight on the show. Coming up next to kick off hour number 3, we got our main man, Swamp Dweller, coming on in. Then right after him, little Timmy James will join us for the UFO report. It's going to be fun. Hour 3 is next.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
Thank you. Very much appreciate you.
Thank you.
I'm glad you had fun.
I did.
Good.
I did. And I appreciate you inviting me. It was fun to be here.
Well worth it. Well worth our time. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
You have a great night. you go crawl into bed. I got
Hi.
another hour to do,
All right.
and we'll talk again.
All right. Thanks, you guys. Have
Take
a good
care,
night.
Tiff.
Bye.
Good night. I love her. She's so nice. So nice. She's got nice hair. Can we agree that she has nice hair? I would agree. I'll be right back, everybody. Let's bring in little Timmy James.
What's going on?
Oh, it'd be good if my allergies would stop.
I can hear you again.
All right. Swamp Dweller will be a little long tonight. It's like 7.5 minutes.
No worries.
Then we'll bring you on. Thank you to T-Bone ×2, Gizmo and Dutch Hank for the great super chats. And thank you to Marion for becoming a newest member of the SOR YouTube membership. Remember, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So check it on out. Hi, Bobbert. How you doing? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you for joining us wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hey, we want to remind all of you, or let's just, heck with it, let's just say hello to everyone tuning us in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Unconsentaneous. I don't understand this word. Unconsentaneous. Unconsentaneous. There we go. Use your password wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. It has taken me a while to write up this personal experience for you, mostly due to just being busy with other things. Though I will admit it's also due to a bit of fear. Not that you would bother me about the story, but about invoking other things to come back into my life. While I won't give you the specific location details, I suspect that a little investigation would lead you to the location. I cannot stress this enough. Do not contact the current owners. Just don't. From shortly before I was born until sometime in the mid-90s, I think 92 or 93, my grandparents lived in a small town outside of Selma, Alabama. The town they lived in was rather well known, due to having several antebellum mansions in it. One such mansion was my grandparents' home. The property had been abandoned and largely forgotten by the time my grandparents had bought it in the 1970s, and my father spent much of his free time restoring the home. I cannot say specifically how long, but I know that it had been empty for at least a decade at the time of purchase. It took my dad and grandfather several years of working on their own to restore the home, as well as adding some new modern fixtures and other upgrades. My grandmother, for her part, filled the home with various antiques, most of which dated around the period of the home. Due to its age, the home was on the historical register, and would later, after they sold it, be turned into a bed and breakfast, though I don't think it is such now. Whatever the case, paranormal experiences seemed to happen weekly there, even during when my grandfather and father were restoring the home. Some stories I remember offhand were his seeing something white and see-through sweep across the front hall one night while they were working on the property. They made sure to double-check everything before locking up, but they never did find anything. He passed it off as the wind catching a painting drop cloth, though he would admit reluctantly there was no wind, and he had not started painting quite yet. My grandmother related hearing footsteps come halfway down the main staircase one day while she was on the hall phone, only to have those steps turn and go back up the stairs slowly. Doors would randomly lock and unlock themselves. Various things getting moved around or just went missing in general. And there was an overbearing sense of just being watched in the home at all times. Especially in one room at the corner at the top of the main staircase. That room, at the top of the stairs, was the center of the most activity. Even though the last owner, an elderly woman, had died in another room. Personally, that room always bothered me. I always felt like something was watching me from it. Something was angry that didn't want me there. Only if the door was closed, could I walk past it. Otherwise, I would go out of my way to simply avoid being there at all. There were 2 staircases that led down the hallway and downstairs. My half-brother related a story from around when I was born, when he was checking the property for my dad one afternoon. While walking around outside it, he stated that he got the distinct feeling that he was being watched. Looking up at the darkened house, he saw the face of an old man staring back at him from a window. The window happened to be in the room which I had problems with. After the property sold, I spent a week at the bed and breakfast in 2000. I specifically told the owner to put me in any room other than the one at the top of the stairs, to which they stated they had quit renting it out anyway. The door was now permanently locked, from what they seemed to say. Apparently they had numerous people who, after renting that room out, would simply check out and leave. None would give a reason for their sudden departure. While I stayed there, I spent most of my time visiting people who I had kind of grown up with and such like that, though we had moved away when I was just a child. We did still go back on a regular basis. We saw some places in Selma, where my father had worked, and only returned to the house to sleep. One afternoon, maybe a day or so before I was set to leave, I sat down to dinner with the host and hostess. The conversation turned to my history with the home, and some of the strange experiences I had over the years. When the subject came to the room at the top of the stairs, and what my half-brother had personally witnessed, the host and hostess shared a look of absolute disbelief before the man cleared his throat. He said that what I told them was on par with what they themselves had experienced, though they noticed that they believed that they knew why the disturbance had originated. During landscaping work in the rather large, about 5-acre backyard, they were forced to cut down one of these ancient oak trees that were there. In the roots of the tree, they found the remains of an unmarked grave. This prompted further investigation, upon which they discovered no less than 6 more unmarked graves there. The remains were moved to a local cemetery, but were quite badly beat up. And while they wouldn't, and they refused to go into detail, tell me much of what they found there outside of that, they did make it quite clear that it was their belief that the unknown cemetery was directly tied to the spirits that were in the home. They also related one final ghost experience that makes me smile. I know this is the kind of thing that shouldn't, but it does. They note that the large barn which my grandfather built, it wasn't original to the property. It was apparently haunted. However, the ghost seems to just come and go on its own free will. It hasn't really done anything overly spooky. Rather, from time to time, people in the barn have noticed a distinct sound of old country or gospel music that sounds like it's being played on an old record player. That seems to be centered around a small office located in the interior of the barn itself. The reason this makes me smile, well, that wasn't an office. My grandfather had built that little room, put a small cot in there, and a record player, where from time to time he would take a nap while listening to his records. He was the happiest when he was puttering around in his barn, usually with my grandmother at his side, while listening to those records of his. I can't help but feel that now that he has passed on, he went back to the old home he was happiest at. I guess it goes without saying he and my grandmother didn't want to sell the old home. Some of the family effectively forced that to happen, and, well, the fact that my grandfather and grandmother didn't live long enough after it sold makes me seriously feel the sale was directly tied to them dying in some manner. Now, as I said, as far as I know, the place is still very active on the haunting side. It is also a private residence now, so you might as well have a general idea of where the home is, but by no means you should not contact the current owners. I haven't done so since 2000 myself, and I do not know if it's still an Airbnb or not, and even if it is, I doubt the owners would want to become a ghost attraction. Anyways, thank you so much for sharing my story, and I hope you all enjoyed it.
Gotta love the Swamp Dweller to kick off hour 3 of each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. You can join his YouTube channel, Swamp Dweller. Hit subscribe, ring that bell. Thousands of stories just for you to listen to each and every day and night. Time for the UFO Report.
That is an interplanetary flying space saucer. You have made me very angry. Very angry indeed.
All right, we bring in little Timmy James here on Spaced Out Radio from his home studio. Never the same when he's over there. You know, we're always on like a half a second lag. You know, his beard never looks as good as when he's at home than when he's out in public. We're at the studio here. Tim, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
I'm doing good. And how about you, man?
I'm good. You know, it's hour 3. It's hour 3. You know, you get those shows where you're like, wow, where did the first 2 hours go?
Yeah, no doubt. And she was awesome. She was a great guest.
Yeah, Tiffany was great.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Very good. Finally, we actually might have some UFO stuff to talk about tonight.
Yeah, there's
But I have a question for you before we get going.
Yeah, let's do that.
Are you ever going to do your rant again?
If you'd like me to, I can do one tonight. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I want to hear a rant from you.
Okay. Do you want me to start off with one or end with one?
Yeah, start with it. Let's warm it up here.
Okay. All right. I'm going to warm it up. So what's going on is I peruse through the news as much as I possibly can on UFO stuff and encrypted and all the rest of it, but focusing on UFO stuff. And there seems to be a lot of people out there that are like, oh, are we going to have more congressional hearings? Are there going to be more congressional hearings? There's a lot of talk about it. And I was like, hang on a second. Doesn't the window close on this disclosure team that the Pentagon has with Anna Paulina Luna? Didn't they have a 6-month window? Nothing else is happening, right? Well, everybody's yammering about it. And I was like, okay, I'm so sick of it. And all of it, like these hearings. Yeah, so congressional hearings. So here we go. So the UFO community, those of us who burned years, lifetimes, months, days, whatever, chasing the truth about unidentified flying objects, is beyond sick of this charade. So congressional hearings on UFOs are a pathetic joke, as far as I'm concerned. A revolving door of pompous suits and stone-faced brass spewing empty platitudes while delivering jack squat. We're not here for another dog and pony show, another round of historic hearings that fizzle into nothing. The American public, heck, the whole world, is fed up with being jerked around by a government that treats us like idiots too dumb for the truth. So let's talk results, or the lack thereof. The 2021 hearing, a glorified PowerPoint with blurry videos, zero substance. 2023, Grush drops a nuke, claims non-human biologics and secret crash retrieval programs, and what happens? Nothing. Congress yawns, the Pentagon denies, and we're left with nothing but whispers of classified briefings we'll never see. 2024, same garbage. Different day. More witnesses, Elizondo, Gadet, hinting at black budget programs and recovery tech, but where's the proof? Locked in some shadowy vault, guarded by bureaucrats who'd rather choke on their security clearances than give us a shred of evidence. These hearings aren't progress. They're a middle finger to everyone who actually gives a damn. The government's transparency is a sick prank, a deliberate slap in the face while they dangle the carrot of disclosure just out of reach. We're not just choked about the stonewalling, it's the condescending gall of it all. Lawmakers play act outrage, demanding answers they know that they won't get, then scurry back to their offices like cowards. They frame UFOs as a national security issue to sound tough, but they're too spineless to ask the real questions. Are we alone? Or have we been sharing this planet with something else for decades? They'd rather dodge the implications than look like kooks, leaving us with recycled drivel about threat assessments and oversight. It's a betrayal. We're not conspiracy nuts in tinfoil hats. We're people who have seen through the lies, and we're done being gaslit by the system that's been lying to us since Roswell. The whistleblowers are the only one with guts. Grush, Fravor, Graves, career guides, not ex-keyboard warriors, have put their necks on the line, talking about craft that laugh at our physics and, yeah, non-human biologics. So that's code for bodies, just in case nobody didn't know. Alien corpses, maybe even tech so advanced it makes F-35s look like paper planes. But even their bombshells get neutered. They're gagged by clearances, forced to tiptoe around specifics, while the Pentagon smirks and denies everything. Grush's 2023 testimony about the multi-decade cover-ups was a gut punch, but without photos, wreckage, or single declassified page, it's just words. The system is designed to smother truth, to let brave voices shout into the void while Congress pretends to care. Now, words leaking out about new whistleblowers stepping up, and this is where it kind of gets a little wild. These aren't randoms. We're talking insiders, ex-military, former intelligence, maybe even scientists who've touched the stuff. They're whispering about retrievals, not just one or two crashes, but a systematic program. Think Roswell on steroids, multiple craft that aren't just saucers, but machines that rewrite what we think is possible. Speculations rampant that these new voices have seen the goods, preserved specimens, alloys that don't match anything on Earth, maybe even tech that's been reverse engineered into black ops projects. They're risking everything. Careers torched, lives threatened, to spill details about underground facilities, secret labs, and programs so compartmentalized, even presidents might not know anything about them. If they bring evidence, photos, videos, and actual materials, it could blow the lid off. Imagine a whistleblower walking into Congress with a chunk of otherworldly metal or a leaked autopsy report. The UFO community buzzing that this could be it the moment the dam breaks. But let's not kid ourselves. The future's only bright if these whistleblowers can outmaneuver the machine. The government's had decades to perfect this playbook, discredit, bury, or classify anything that gets too close to the truth. If these new insiders deliver, they'll face smear campaigns and maybe worse. And Congress, they'll probably botch it again, too scared of the implications to push the declassification. We're not asking for Hollywood endings with aliens on the White House lawn. We want the truth. Bodies, craft, data, whatever's been hidden since 1940. We already know. Majority of us are experiencers. We know the truth. Open the vaults. Let scientists, not spooks, tear into it. If it's nothing, prove it. If it's something, own it. Congress, your hearings are a scam. Your promises are lies. And we're done listening to your BS. The UFO community isn't your punching bag. We're the ones who've kept the fight alive despite your mockery. To the whistleblowers, bring it all. Every scrap, every photo, every impossible alloy, we're ready. The suits in DC aren't, and we're damn tired of waiting for them to grow a spine.
Wow, you're kind of angry in that one.
Yeah, it was irritating me. Sorry, folks.
I like what you said.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was from the heart. I think that, you're showing ample frustration in the deep state and the control that it has on this topic. And the question is, it comes down to it. Do they really want disclosure?
Well, that's just it too. And the thing is that there's, I think what kind of, I think piqued my, set me off, so to speak, is so many people just reading constantly. We want disclosure. We want this. We want. And why aren't we having more hearings? And why are we having? And that's what got me. It was like, hearings. Why do we need any more hearings unless there's something absolutely phenomenal that's going to drop out of the sky or come out of the woodwork? And again, like we've said, nothing against the nothing like that. It's just like, oh. I remember watching this TV show 15 times already. So yeah, it just kind of set me off.
Yeah, and look, I don't want any other types of hearings either.
Mm-mm.
And we're in a little bit of a catch-22 when it comes to that, because I don't like the hearings,
Mm-mm.
but what it does is it keeps the conversation going.
Yes.
Okay, so on that level, I can see where the hearings are important, but unless they're going to bring new people with new information,
Mm-hmm.
with proper information, proper details, then it's going to be the same old, like you said, dog and pony show,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and it's for the press. It's not for anybody else.
No.
It's for the press,
No.
you know, and you know, if you talk to talk to anybody who knows anything about American politics, they will tell you the names on this UFO board are not the star players
Mm-mm.
of the Congress.
Yeah.
They are the in hockey we'd call them the third or fourth liners.
Yeah. For sure.
And hey, some of them are making this name for themselves, but they could only, like you said though, they can only pound on their chest so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before people are going to stop listening. And
Exactly.
it also comes down to, what is a witness?
Mm-hmm.
What is a whistleblower? Not a witness. What is a whistleblower?
Yes.
We haven't had a whistleblower yet.
No. No, you're absolutely right. And that's just it. If they're going to have a hearing, if they're going to have something come out and they want to keep it out in the open, then have a hearing with somebody that's going to bring some meat and potatoes to the table instead of buy my book. You know, that's yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, I guess. And then I don't know. I'm just it's frustrating, and I'm just tired of listening to it. And the other thing is too, the only thing that I think satisfies all of us to a certain degree, and you and I have talked about it many times on the show, is that we've experienced, I would say most of us have experienced, not everybody, but we've experienced it. We don't need you to tell us that what we've felt or seen or encountered is real or not. Don't need them to tell us that, right? We just it's yeah. I think that's the solace in it all, is that I know what's happened with me and what I've seen. You know what's happened with you and what you've seen, but it's like all these you look at the government and go, you guys, what are you talking about? There's nothing going on here, right? I don't know.
We have about a minute to go here, so I think we do need to just continue on with this topic. It does look like we will be getting more hearings. It's looking more and more like September that will happen, maybe the beginning of September.
Yeah.
And for the rest of us, who are familiar with this topic, we're going to be eye rolling. If you're new to this topic, it's going to be exciting.
Sure.
It's going to be very interesting. It's quite a learning curve, and we encourage people to do that. But don't expect them to come out and say, we got aliens. Don't expect them to come out and say, we have UFO technology. They can't say it.
No.
They just can't. And they're going to refuse to, continuing on. And that's why many people who love this topic at the grassroots level are turning their backs on this whole disclosure movement.
Yeah.
They are starting to realize that they've been hoodwinked. And that's pretty much it. Coming up next on Spaced Out Radio, we continue the UFO report with little Timmy James hanging on out tonight. We're going to get into former SOR guest and former CIA member John Ramirez. What's the latest news? We'll find out next.
This is Spaced Out Radio. Your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we're clear.
Sweet. Like your commercials, dude.
What commercials? Oh, yeah,
fishing.
no, not here. Not here. Not
No.
here.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, daytime stuff is daytime stuff. But you know what? You know what we do have? We gotta start making some fun stuff for our shorts, man. I gotta get. I'm trying to find some time to get into those videos and get into some of our videos and cut them up and start making some shorts. I'm trying to train myself to try and do that every day or every couple days, and I'm not doing good at it right now.
No, I hear you. Actually, I ran across the other day. I ran across a piece of software that you can take any of your videos, any of the SOR previous archives, and you can pick a link for any one of the shows, and it actually goes through and I guess watches it and then picks out like anywhere from 30-second to a minute and a half shorts and creates 10 of them out of a video. I was like, oh, I saved the link because I wanted to read.
I have a program like that called Opus Clip.
Yeah,
but I'm not happy with it.
Oh, really? It just kind of randomly falls on its face, or
no, just not a fan of it. Not a fan. I find that it kind of makes the cameras look blurry.
Oh,
like it looks cheap.
Oh, okay. Like it reduces your resolution and stuff like
that.
Nah, not want that. Yeah. I can't remember what the name of it is. I'll look it up, and I know it was an Opus Clip because I would have remembered that name. But yeah, I'll check it out and see what it is and see if play around, because that'd be nice.
Yeah, I think it'd be good.
I
do think it'd be good. These freaking allergies, man.
Oh, because of the yeah. Well, it's so hot out there. Well, for up here, it's so hot. But yeah, I know that everywhere at my daytime job, it's like all over the place. It's just dust and
right.
Yep. Yes. Trying to get used to this new mic. It's like
your mic looks good.
Thank you, but I was so used to eating the other one because you had to get this one. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, look who it is. It's little Mikey Gutierrez in the chat room. Little Mikey. Yeah.
Wee Mikey.
B. Arthur's tuned right into you tonight too.
Right on. Hello, B.
Hello, B.
Did you catch any of the Aussie procession?
I watched a little bit online, and I didn't watch the funeral. I just saw the procession.
Yeah, Birmingham was packed. I don't think anybody went to work today or yesterday or whatever it was.
I'm going to say this out of sheer ignorance because I know Ozzy's a legend, but I didn't expect him to, his procession to be like the Queen of England dying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, Birmingham. He's a Birmingham boy, man. Made it big.
Yeah. But I mean, I didn't realize, that they worshipped him like that over there.
Oh yeah, yeah. The birthplace of heavy metal is what they've called it. Yeah, I couldn't believe the amount of people either. I was like, wow, that's awesome.
I mean, the last time I saw people lined up like that was literally when B. Arthur from Paranormal Portal was, walking down the street, shaking hands. Thousands upon thousands of people lined up just to get a glimpse.
Well, it's almost like at night after the show where the people lined up outside the studio for autographs.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. We got like 20 seconds. Thank you to T-Bone ×2, Gizmo, Dutch Hank, and we welcome in Marion to our YouTube membership. You could join the YouTube membership right now. Come hang out with us. It's fun. 'Tis fun. 'Tis. New swag at the Spaced Out Radio store. Make sure you check it on out. Hi, Free Your Mind. How are you? And yep.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. For the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight, my name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in. So make sure you go and check out all our social media. We got good stuff there. Little Timmy James coming up with the UFO report on former CIA member John Ramirez momentarily. My name is Dave Scott. I'm the host of this show. And I want to remind all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, you can always check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. Tim James, a UFO report. What do you got on John Ramirez for us, former guest on Spaced Out Radio?
Yeah, he has chimed in on this 2027 impending doom event, or whatever they're classifying it as. Pretty interesting. We were talking about it on Monday, and I know that they did a little bit on it. But yeah, it seems to be a lot of people in the know chiming in. And so John, he's a retired CIA officer with decades of intelligence experience, has sparked intense debate with his bold claim that humanity faces a transformative event in 2027, one that could reshape our understanding of reality. In a recent discussion, Ramirez suggested that governments are quietly preparing the public for a significant revelation, warning that we are unprepared for what's coming. His statements, grounded in his extensive career, have ignited curiosity and skepticism, prompting calls for a deeper explanation of humanity's relationship with the planet. We're kind of preparing the U.S. population, at least, and by extension, the world population, to that reality. That there is a presence here, and that we need to explain this presence. Because if they show up and we continue to do what we did before in previous decades, there will be mass panic, Ramirez stated in an interview on podcast UFO. His assertion points to a deliberate shift in how governments are addressing UFOs, moving away from decades of denial towards a controlled disclosure. Yeah, right. Ramirez's warning hinges on the idea that an external presence, potentially extraterrestrial, has been interacting with Earth for some time. He claims this presence will become undeniable by 2027, a date he says has circulated within government circles. I think the word got out within the government that they're showing up in 2027, and we better be prepared, he said, emphasizing the need for psychological and societal readiness to avoid chaos. Beyond the sensational nature of his claims, Ramirez urges a broader reflection on humanity's stewardship of Earth. He argues that the impending event, whatever its nature, should prompt a reevaluation of our environmental and societal priorities. On Earth, the idea that humans could be owned and treated without respect came onto the planet 500,000 years ago. We need to reteach the value of life, he remarked, suggesting that humanity's survival may depend on aligning with more harmonious relationship with the planet. Skeptics question the lack of concrete evidence behind Ramirez's claims, noting that his predictions echo familiar patterns of speculative warnings, yet his background lends weight to his words, fueling discussion about whether governments are orchestrating a slow drip of information to condition the public. This isn't about fear, it's about waking up to a reality we've ignored for far too long, Ramirez said, framing the 2027 event as a potential turning point for human consciousness. As the date approaches, Ramirez's call to action resonates. Humanity must confront its place in the cosmos and on Earth itself. Whether his predictions prove true or not, his messages underscore exist with our planet. So, yeah, I was like, okay, John's jumped into it, and like you say, he was a guest on the show before, and I thought, okay, I like John. I like listening to what he has to say. He's a very intelligent man, but I still have that terrible Jeremy Corbell thing going in the back of my head. They're going to tell you that there's a big catastrophe coming. They're going to tell you that there's something coming for Earth. And yeah, I'm still trying to sift through and find what I can what I can actually believe, right?
Well, I mean, the thing with a lot of these dates and predictions, I don't really buy into them. And no offense, I like John Ramirez. I've had the pleasure of meeting up with him a few times now and talking to him on the phone. And remember, John just passes information that he's heard. He doesn't say that it is 100% truth, 100% fact. He says, this is what I am hearing. And the one thing that I will say to defend him is a lot of people will say, John's full of it. Look what he's putting out. He's a disinformation agent, once in the CIA, always in the CIA. And I'm not saying there isn't much that's all 100% not truthful. But in knowing John and meeting him a few times, I don't have a great read on him, but I think I got a good read on him. And I think that we need to remember that guys like John Ramirez, they're just passing on the information from their sources.
Right.
He's not saying it's correct. He's not saying it's not correct. He's saying, this is what I heard.
Right.
This is what I found out. He's not owning the information. And I think that's where a lot of people get frustrated with him.
Yeah, I would agree. And you know, the thing is that it's like us. We're just passing on the information as well. I mean, understand you and I aren't ex-CIA, or aren't we? But you know, we're doing the same thing. So I can see where you're coming from, and that makes perfect sense. And John's a great guy. Like, I mean, you know, I've known him for like a brief second or two, but the read I get from him is the same thing. He's not mincing words. I don't think he's trying to, you know, paint it yellow and tell you it's green. You know what I mean? I think he's
very true. And it is that time of the night when we talk about the CIA and all the alphabet agencies that, you know, you're more than welcome to give us a call sometime and say hello. You know, you already got our number. We don't need to give it to you on the air. You already got our number. But feel free to give us a call sometime and shoot the breeze about these weird, strange topics. I always like it. Maybe you will too. Maybe we could be friends. Give us a call sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else you got for us, Tim?
Oh, well, I think we need to get Science Bob on sooner than later here, because we got more Skywatcher news going on. So apparently, allegedly, an anonymous insider has come forward with a startling claim about Skywatcher, a group known for its work in collecting scientific data on UFO and UAP. The insider alleges that Skywalker, once celebrated for its transparent approach to UFO research, has sold out and signed non-disclosure agreements to conceal its operations, raising questions about the group's motive and future. So the insider, who claims to have been closely, and again, being closely involved with Skywatcher's activities, spoke on condition of anonymity due to the sensitive nature of the allegations. Word on the street is that the whole operation was compromised, the insider said. They got too close to something big, and now they're locked into NDAs to keep it quiet. It's not about science anymore. It's about control. Skywatcher has been recognized in UFO and UAP research circles for its rigorous methods, with prominent figures like Gary Nolan, a Stanford professor and a UAP researcher, praising its approach. Nolan previously described Skywatcher as the only group with a comprehensive approach that will lead the field, citing their ability to collect data at scale and handle complex logistics. However, the insider's claims suggest a shift in the group's priorities. They used to be about sharing knowledge, but now it's all behind closed doors, the insider added. The NDAs are a gag order to keep the truth from coming out. The allegations have sparked skepticism among UFO enthusiasts, particularly after recent online discussions highlighted unverified claims about Skywatcher's methods, such as alleged psionics, summoning of UFOs. The Insider dismissed these as distractions. That's just noise to cover up what's really going on, they said. The real story is they've been brought out, or they've been bought out, excuse me. Whether it's government, corporate, or something else, they're not independent anymore. So no concrete evidence has surfaced to confirm this claim, but and Skywatcher has not issued any public response. The group's website and social media channels remain active, promoting upcoming projects, but make no mention of NDAs or changes in leadership or funding. Critics argue the lack of transparency fuels speculation. If they're signing NDAs, it's because someone wants their work buried, said a former collaborator who declined to be named. This isn't how you advance science. The Insider's allegations come at a time when public interest in UFOs is at an all-time high. Skywatcher's alleged shift from open research to secrecy could undermine trust in a broader UFO research community. People look to Skywatcher for answers, the Insider said. Now they're just another group playing by somebody else's rules.
Oh, I have so much to say on this. So much to say.
I thought you might.
Here's what we do know. Skywatcher does get funding, private funding. They are being funded. This is why they have gone quiet. It's almost like when Robert Bigelow owned Skinwalker Ranch. He didn't let a thing out. We're not going to hear a thing from Skywatcher unless they want us to know about it. As I've said from the last few months, and I hate to pat myself on the back again, but I was right.
Told us so.
They want nothing to do with ufology. I took a lot of heat for the way I kind of went after Science Bob about Skywatcher. And you know what? It's all coming true. The renaming of ufology, from black triangles to, what do they call them? Tridactyls or triads or, trigonometry. Yeah, I'm making a little bit fun there. Okay, but the renaming of UFOs and coming up with all of their own new terms, because all of our UFO terms are tainted and they are old school, and it means little green men and flying saucers and anal probes. We've heard it all. Skywatcher has been a for-profit company for a while. They want to break in. Now, I'm not saying they're not doing good work. Okay, right. I'm not saying that at all. I believe in the summoning. I believe that they have figured out ways in order to attract these craft.
Right.
And it is all about consciousness. And I think that's what they are working strongly with right now. Their agenda is to make money. They want to make money off of this project. They want to be the number one team out there to go to get government contracts. Okay. Now, I am hypothesizing here. Let me clarify that. This is not 100% fact. It's hypothesis. And hearing what I've heard from secondhand information from people who are down. It has nothing to do with entertainment. It has nothing to do with disclosure or transparency or anything along those lines. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with how can they capitalize on this. This is, in my opinion, a very, very public disclosure for dollars team. However, I think they are doing good work. So I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth here for a second. Okay, especially the summoning. People, every one of you listening out there can summon UFOs. You really can. We don't need the technology. We don't need the dog whistles. We don't need $3,500 to spend on Stephen Greer's weekend to show you how to do it. Okay. All you need to do is clear your conscience, meditate, and take some time, not 10, 15 minutes, not half an hour. Take an hour to 2 hours on one of these warm summer nights. Go outside with a lawn chair and just meditate on a piece of the sky and say, can you fly over? As long as you have a clear conscience, clear heart and soul, ask them to fly over. That's it. That's summoning, is putting the energy out there, like taking a Kmart blue light special light and shooting it from your head right to 1 billion miles into space. That's summoning. That's it. They're going to pick up on your signal. They will. But it takes time. You're likely not going to have success the first time you try it or the second time you try it. Then all of a sudden you're going to get a feeling one day that, hey, I better watch the stars tonight. I don't know why, but I better go outside and watch the stars. And you go out there, and the next thing you know, there's something happening and something you don't recognize flying across the sky.
Yep.
The critics and the skeptics, they don't believe in summoning. I don't care about them. I don't care about them. What I care about is people thinking that anything to do with this is going to lead to disclosure. They don't care about disclosure. Skywatcher has no care. Science Bob even pretty much said that on this show. They don't care about disclosure. They don't care about ufology. They don't care about experiencers. They're doing their own thing. They're lucky enough to have the financial backing to do it. And if their theories prove true with the deep pockets that they have, they could be at the precipice of something really, really financially beneficial for them. That's
Right.
Skywatcher.
Very true.
That's all I got, man.
That was
You
good.
got a quick story for us.
Yeah. So this 57 years ago this month in our old stomping ground just down the road, a couple hours, Vancouver. So this is the first time I heard of it, and I vetted this one, and it's true because it's archived in different newspapers. So in late July of 1968, the sun had just dipped down the horizon, bathing Vancouver's McCleary Golf Course in a dusky amber light. The fairways were deserted, except for 4 local boys aged 10 to 13 who had snuck in with flashlights and wide-eyed curiosity, hoping to find lost golf balls or maybe spot a raccoon. Instead, at the edge of the number 7th hole, they found something utterly unexplainable. Nestled between 2 sand traps sat a metallic disc, low and silent, as if it had just landed. It gleamed, reflecting no light from their flickering torches. One boy, Danny, described it as like a faintly like electricity in your teeth. The air around it shimmered faintly, not with heat, but with weird distortion, like ripples of water. Then they saw him. About 20 feet from the disc stood a figure, tall, easily 7 feet, with impossibly long limbs and skin that looked like grayish white under their lights. Its eyes glowed faintly, not with beams, but with ambient luminescence, like an old clock dial. It made no sound, didn't move, just watched. One of the boys said he suddenly heard a strange voice inside of his head, though no one spoke. It wasn't English, he said years later, but I understood it, like it was asking me, "Why are you afraid?" Panic struck, and the boys fled across the fairway, their legs barely obeying what they had asked them to do. When they returned 10 minutes later with the groundskeeper, everything was gone. The disc, the figure, even the shimmering air. But there was one detail no one could ignore. The grass where the craft had rested was perfectly flattened in a circular shape, crisp and undisturbed in its pattern. The story spread real quietly, mostly among local UFO researchers, then later archived by Canadian aerial phenomenon investigators. Skeptics chalked it up to overactive imaginations, but the boys stuck to their accounts even decades later and refused money or publicity to tell their story once again. So I went back and I was like, okay, this is like the Caribou UFO t-shirts. So I went through it, and no, it was true. It was in the Vancouver Sun.
My question is, with all the light pollution around Vancouver, even at that time, how could they see a UFO there?
Well, 1968, and McCleary Golf Course is on McDonald. So it's down towards, well, yeah. And back then in 68 along McDonald, down on that side of the town, I don't know. I don't know if you'd get a lot of light pollution down in there, but you never know. Good point.
That's what I kind of look at. Like, come on. It's Vancouver. I mean, if you're on the south side of Vancouver, you got Vancouver Airport.
Yeah.
Has things flying all the time.
And the ports.
And helicopters and little planes all flying in between the mainland and Vancouver Island, or quickly shooting down into Washington State.
Yep.
I'm not saying it didn't happen.
No.
But I'm saying, knowing that area, even going back to when I was a kid, there wasn't a lot of darkness in the lower mainland at that point.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you get to the Fraser Valley, Langley East at that point.
Oh.
It was like turning the lights off. You know how your TV goes staticky at 11 o'clock at night after the national anthem? That's what it was like living in the Fraser Valley at that point. Not now, though.
Nope.
Now you got to go at least further, an hour further. Tim, thank you very much for a great UFO report. You are modest and you are brave, my friend. Modest and brave to deal us these great topics of UFOs. Thank you very much for your hard night of work as we say goodnight to Tim. And hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Rocket in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio. Rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X, hashtag Spaced Out Radio.
I know you're out there somewhere.
Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. Good job, Tim.
Thanks, Dave.
How's the patient?
I think I was in the middle of the last story and I thought I heard her banging around, or one of the dogs was, or something, but something's banging around upstairs.
Where's the little pup?
She would be sleeping on the pillow on top of the missus's head.
That's Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
I like Charlotte.
Yeah, she's something. She's
a cutie.
She is. Yep.
How'd your day go?
Pretty good, actually. Not too bad. Not too bad. I was kind of surprised. I was like, Yeah, no, it went well. Nice and smooth, which was great. And month end, everybody's showing up. What time is it? Oh, look at that. It's just after midnight. You know what time that is? You know what that means, don't you? It's Joe Monk's birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy Oob Day to you. Happy Oob Day, dear Joe Monk. You ugly bastard. With 6 toes on each foot. With the toes cut out of your Uggs. Happy birthday to you, you old prick.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
Happy birthday, Joe. He doesn't have 6 toes. How do you know?
I don't know.
No. Lex Diaz, Joe Monk, he doesn't have 6 toes.
Joe's the only guy I know who will buy a pair of male Uggs, and then where if you took a boot and cut, and where you would put the steel toe on.
Yeah, the cap. Yeah,
the cap. Well, he doesn't have that. He just cuts that part out so his toes are dangling free, while the rest of his foot stays nice and warm.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Joe has his toes cut out of his Uggs. He tries to blame Lola for it too, right?
Rides around town.
Joe, be nice to your dog.
Rides around town on his Harley with his toe sticking out of his Uggs.
That's right. He goes to shift, and all you see is his big toe go like this, right?
One down, 4 up.
That's right, gorgeous Kim Jellin. Joe's toes are swingers. Swinging free.
Yeah, that's right. Too funny.
See? Look, what did I just tell you? What did I just say? And look what he typed.
Shut up. That have toes.
Did I tell you you'd blame Lola for it?
Uh-huh. There's no Joe, you don't have Uggs. Because if
He
you have
has Uggs. I've seen pictures.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you okay.
Human Carl, is that the Perseids? Have they started early, the meteor shower? Aren't the Perseids like mid-August?
No, you know what? I saw something on the Weather Network about meteor shower. So, yeah. Oh, sure. Joe's going to start an OnlyFans toes page.
You better chew off that corn.
Yeah, that pussy
and
ingrown toenail.
Back. Yeah. Look at that 6. You get yellow toe fungus. We might have to get a T-shirt that reads Joe's toes. Thanks, Fast Hemi.
It's a fungus. It's contagious. Oh, no. It's Joe's birthday and Lola just got skunked.
That's hilarious.
Oh, guess who's sleeping in the backyard tonight?
Oob to Lola. Oob to Lola.
You're stinky. Oh, that sucks.
Finally finished that part off. Holy cow, Dave. Take forever, why don't you?
Yeah.
Take forever, Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Mm-hmm. Joe, are you sure it's skunk or some of those ratty Fruit of the Looms that you got laying around?
Nothing wrong with that, though. Guys have underwear for like 900 years.
Oh, man. I was so sad. I had my favorite pair of underwear. Mm-hmm. Literally, I'd had them for years, man. This is just recent, too.
Uh-oh.
Had them for years. No holes, no nothing. And all of a sudden, they come out of the washing machine one day, and there's the size of a hole in the ass cheek, about the size of a softball. Oh. I'm like, how the hell did that happen? Right? I wore them one more time because I'm a man. right?
Yeah, of course.
But I threw him out after that. I was
Mhm.
sad.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I don't have a problem throwing socks out and putting new ones on because there's nothing better than a new pair of socks. But once your underwear gets, this bit's perfect.
Can't talk underwear. Deborah Rooney's here.
Oh God.
Uh-huh.
I heard
Deborah
never
Rooney
mind.
has arrived. Oh,
Oh.
look at this. I missed these. Hold on. Thank you, awesome cat chaser ×2. And thank you, CS. How did I miss these? Weird. CS always takes such good care of us. Same as T-Bone and Cat Chaser, Dutch Hank, Gizmo. Thank you for the Louvre.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's Deb. Do you see what Deb put in the chat room last night?
No. What did
She
she
goes, I'm really horny. I was like, oh my God.
Well,
really?
thanks for sharing.
I was like, oh my God.
Oh my. You just tell us how you feel, Deb. Just,
right?
Not good to hold stuff in.
Yeah. Just blurt it on out, Deborah Rooney. Just blurt it on out. Don't hold back. Moodins. Oh, look who it is. It's Moodins Mongol.
Moodins Mongol?
Moodins.
Oh, shit, Dave. Someone looked at the mirror and said underwear 3 times, and Deb showed up.
Oh.
I love it.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Careful, toe monk. You don't want any of that that foot fungus is going to turn your nails hard and yellow.
It's not nothing. It's a fungus.
I love that commercial. It'll go away.
The doctor just looks so pissed, right? No, it won't. Oh,
I like the one where the son is making fun. The young son is making fun of the old man's toes.
Yeah, laid on the floor.
Oh, gross. Oh yeah, sure you did, Deborah Rooney. Just like Monk that Lola's chewed up his Uggs. Yeah.
Jesus.
Hi, Skip to my Lou.
So you down past 30 in the basement there yet?
I didn't have to turn the back fan on.
No way.
No, it was, but upstairs, horrible.
Oh, I know.
Horrible.
Yeah. Well, I
almost had to bring out the air conditioning machine tonight.
Oh.
Almost.
Yeah.
We just set up the fans.
Yeah. No, we did too.
Yeah, we're only fans at our house now. In Joe's case, Tonely fans.
But
uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So you had a good day.
Yeah, not too bad.
And here I thought you were going to get fired.
Oh, no. No. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I had somebody basically kiss behind. I'm so sorry. And I dropped that. Yeah. I'll talk to you about it, man. It was
good. So what you're saying is you're not applying at my daytime job.
Oh, no. I'm the golden child apparently now. Again, whatever. I don't even know. Yeah, somebody felt very stupid. Oh, that's all right. Tonely fans. That's great.
Tonely fans. That's Joe's channel there. Stop blaming the dog, Joe, for chewing up your Uggs. We know you cut them out so you could show up for your Tonely fans.
Pedicured toes.
Man, I could use a good pedicure right now. I like pedicures.
Do you know? Get
Oh,
out
man.
here. Get out
yeah.
of here. Mm-mm.
Like, I do. I like pedicures.
Oh, that's cool.
No problem admitting that.
Oh, I do. I just give me the toenail clippers and let me be done with it. I just like,
No. There's something about pedicures.
really, eh?
Oh, dude, if you get the people who don't rush, that they take their time and give you like the calf massage and the ankle massages and the foot massages, you know, never mind the cheese grater scrubber on your heels. Oh man, it's awesome.
I know tons of people that like that. I mean, and that's cool. Don't get me wrong. I mean, to each their own. I just can't stand anybody wanting to, like, I got a cramp in my foot. I'll deal with it. I don't need you to rub my feet. It's like, I don't know.
Oh man, you got to get over that, man. It's been 140 years, man. Get over it.
There's no bridge going over that, man. I ain't building a bridge over that. No, there's just certain things. Can't do it. And I don't like massages. I just don't.
Really?
No.
So Mrs. James comes up and says, "Here, let me rub your shoulders. You look a little, stressed out."
Mm-hmm. I go, no.
You say no?
Yeah.
What a dick.
I don't like it. I just don't.
What a dick.
I can't relax. I get more tense. It's like, and it's not like she hasn't said, "Here, let me just get that knot in your neck." It's like, no, doubt. And I'm just a fuss ass, I guess. I've never, even my dad, when I was a kid, you'd get up, or and he'd walk up behind you, put his hands on your shoulders, and let me get that. I'd be like, get off me. Oh, no, thank you. Yeah. Nibbling at your toe, Walter. No. It's like, you ever seen those? What is it in Japan? You can put your feet in those tanks, and all those little fish come up and go.
I'd like to try that. I'm not gonna lie. I'd like to try that.
Nope. Nope. I'm pulling them out to go fishing and use them as bait. They're not chewing on my feet, man.
Kim Jellin, if you ever show up early for a UFO con in San Francisco, rather than from like peak hours 4 to 4:30 on a Sunday, let's go get pedicures in San Francisco.
There you go.
Yeah. Joe Buck literally has feet like Lloyd Christmas.
Fuck. Oh. Nice. All right, I'm gonna bolt. I hear people or something moving around upstairs. If I don't get up there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hey, when are you going to have the next episode ready?
Not telling. I should. Well, I got to get that last scene off you. So that's it. And then I just got to run it. I'm basically right to that point where I've just got to add that last clip that you have.
Why didn't you just take it when you had my phone the other day?
Because if I would have done that, I have to sit there and I have to break the clip up and split it into sections. And I didn't have time, because by the time you were over here and get ready to go, so
I could have waited. I even said I would wait.
I didn't hear you. Didn't hear you say that. It's not a big deal.
That's because you don't go for pedicures. That's why.
That's it.
That's exactly it.
Good night, Kim Jillin. Yeah.
All right, everybody. We're going to say goodnight to all of you. Thank you to Deborah Rooney, Cat Chaser ×2, CS, T-Bone with a hat trick, Gizmo, Dutch Hank, and our newest member on our YouTube channel, Marion. So make sure you check that on out. We're going to try and start the live membership feeds next week if I actually get a day off. And well, yeah, I'm definitely taking a day off next week, and we'll get that going. And so we're gonna say goodnight here too, because it's lonely without Tim. And Tim's like my personal forest dweller. He is. He is my personal forest dweller. Buddy, you have a great day tomorrow, okay?
You too, man. And everybody else as well.
Yep. Let's do it. We're going to say goodnight to all of you. Brian Bowden, the man with 7,776 podcasts. Tomorrow night on the show, so make sure you check it on out. Have a great one, everybody. Take care. Much love. Good night.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.